Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast, curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast, your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
Yes, indeed. This is Radio Generation. My name is Mungala Mbuvi. It's a very bright morning. It's the 21st day of July 2025. The month is almost over. Yeah, but the show has to continue. The conversations are only taking shape. My name is Mungala Mbuvi. Welcome to 88.8 in Nairobi, 90.7 in Mombasa, and 89.5 in Garissa.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Trisha Wayu, and of course, if you want to get tuned in, like on our social media pages, by the way, because we are live there, you will get us at Radio Gen KE. That is on Instagram, TikTok, on X, and even on YouTube. Also, you can follow the conversations at Radio Gen KE, and on Facebook, it is Radio Generation Kenya. Remember to also tune in to our website, by the way. There you can also get us live and direct. So we are starting this. It is a new week.
Right.
From 6 to 10. Conversations that matter.
Yes.
Like conversations that, of course, will expose all truth.
Yes.
And with all boldness.
Because we are the home of hard truths and bold insights. Yeah?
Yes.
All right. So this morning, which day are we celebrating? Is there a day the UN is celebrating?
Well, today it's just an official day to celebrate or to observe. And it's about, this is what it says. It's about hugs. Have you gotten a hug this morning?
Wow. I can't remember the last time I got a hug.
What?
Yes.
What are you saying?
I can't remember and this morning obviously I didn't get it. I woke up at 4 a.m. but all by myself. Sitaanza kuamsha watu nianze kuambia hug me.
Please hug me, I want to go to work.
Unaacha watu walale. But I am one of the quietest people. Ninaamkanga chini ya maji tu, I tiptoe na washa tu only the necessary lights. Use whatever I need to do to use rather in a very quiet way. So I can't, to be honest, I can't remember the last time I got a hug.
Wow. Yes. I think I got two of them. Today in the morning.
All right, good for you.
Two of them, but actually it's specifically today it's meant for the children. It's called a Global Hug Your Kids Day.
Global Hug Your Kids Day.
Yes. So this day is dedicated to reminding parents to express their love and affection for their children.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, for their children. You know, there are some parents who never hug their children.
Yes. Like fathers, especially wale mababa wa kitambo. Ngumu sana.
You want to hug your father, and especially when you're a boy, so your father is like, what's wrong with you?
Yes. I only see our parents shaking our hands. Mothers will hug you. Mothers are always lovable, loving, all those sweet words used for our mothers. Lakini mzee ukipata ne habari yako kijana, naona uko sawa
inabidi useme niko sawa, niko salama.
Alafu anakuuliza hii ndevu unanyoa lini? Hii nywele yako kwani umemwona namna gani? Those are fathers for you. Yes, and they'll always ask you na bibi yako wapi? They ask some very weird military questions, for lack of a better word. So men, we need to hug more.
Yeah. Yes. Hug your children, imagine. It's quite important, and especially, if you're a parent, it is quite important because, of course, it helps in improving the bond that you have with your child.
But also hugs are very personal,
Yeah.
You just don't go hugging everyone.
Not everyone. I'm saying about your children.
Yes. No, I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
Ya watoto tushakubali tuseme hiyo tutahagiana. Hamna shida. But nasema sasa even in social circles, you just don't go hugging everyone. Yeah. There are people you hug. For example, I wouldn't expect to see you hugging your boss. That would be very weird in the office.
Did you have to use the example?
No, I'm just saying, for example,
okay, sawa.
I wouldn't expect to see you.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't expect to see you.
Actually, I won't.
Exactly. I wouldn't expect you to see you hugging every random person in the office, because hugs are very personal. Hugs, but they on a serious note, a hug is intimate, because it's kifua kwa kifua, for instance.
Well, this is how I look at, it is a way of showing love. And of course, it offers comfort.
For sure.
You know, sometimes you may be going through a hard time and then you're like, when you receive that hug, kuna venye tu mtu feel, by the way. Yeah, there's something kuna tu venye mtu feel.
Kuna ka feeling.
Kuna ka feeling flani.
Ni kweli, ndio maana nasema hugs are very
when somebody
personal.
embraces you. Yeah, so quite important. And of course, it is also good for building connections.
True.
Yeah.
That is why a hug is not for everyone.
Ni sawa. Hapo kwa everyone wala umeinsist.
Nimeinsist.
But anyway, the bottom line is, please let's hug our children. It is quite important. You never know. Just that simple hug in the morning inaweza badilisha, ama even in the evening, like mtu anaweza kuwa ametoka shule
Akona stress,
depression,
alifanya
kama
cut,
zile. Yes.
Akaanguka.
When you hug them, then kuna tu wenye una feel yeah, so
Okay.
let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
RGK train ya leo inatupeleka wapi?
Taking us to the US, to this one, Peter Drucker.
Utatupeleka Uganda lini?
You want
Last week yote tumeshinda US.
Okay, sawa. Tomorrow we will go to Uganda.
Leo Monday umetupeleka US tena.
Sawa, let's do this. You know, there's somebody who questioned like what our professors have been doing, our writers and our authors were doing in Kitambo. Yeah. But currently, of course, we have so many people are doing a lot of writing. Yeah. Encouraging people with quotes and so forth, and especially Nigeria, by the way, wako wengi, South Africa. You know, kuna some other countries we never see any quote actually.
Now, no, what you need to do, because this is your responsibility, dig deeper. And after watu wa Mali,
Yes,
Chad.
I'm saying,
yes.
you know, there are quotes.
Right.
And there are quotes. You get the difference.
We have people like Akina Thomas Sankara from Burkina Faso.
Of course, that's what I say.
I'm sure alisema vitu za
The other
Mungu.
day I did one from Burkina Faso.
Yes. Yeah, you can
so
get
but today
one from Sierra Leone, but anyway, today
let's
US,
let's get back to the US
right.
because this is what Peter said, that the best way to predict the future is to create it. The best way to predict the future is to create it.
All right. So that is everything to do with planning for the future.
And actually, this was a scholar. He's a management consultant. He was a management consultant actually, and of course,
Peter nani?
Drucker.
Peter Drucker.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, a management consultant. So of course, expect that most of his quotes, it's all about how to manage your life, how to manage a country, how to manage
plan.
Yes, how to plan. So many things around management. So he said the best way to predict the future is to create it.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, don't just wait for things to happen.
Do them. Yeah.
You have to create them.
Right. Like right now, the best way to predict the future, for example, post 2027, if we want good governance, good leadership, you want to see maendeleo maeneo yako, that means right now you need to start understanding the kind of MCA you're going to be voting, the kind of MP you're going to be voting, senator, woman rep, governor, all the way to the president.
Well said.
Now is the time.
Well said. If you want to predict the future after 2027,
actually,
you need to start planning right now.
We've been having conversations here about politics and everything, and we're going to have even some more
actually
right now.
Today, yes.
So, and we're always talking about protests. We're always talking about good governance. We're always talking about service delivery. We're always talking about our security and so on and so forth. So if you want to predict the future whereby we'll have a better governed country, better security, better education, better health, now is the time to. Look at the leaders wenye ambao wamejifront hapo mbele. They want to kuitisha ruhusa ama ruhusa ya kukutawala.
Yes. So just look at them. It is your high time right now. Unaingia katika anza kuangalia what they have been doing. You look at their character. Look at the kind of a person, because by the way, hiyo siku moja should not lie to you. All these 2 years zenye zimesalia, they shouldn't lie to you. Kama ni mbuvi, there is mbuvi. Achana na mbuvi wa saa hii when it is only 2 years to the elections.
Right.
Kuna ule mbuvi ambaye amekuwa. So that is the person that we want to actually look into, so that you can be able to make that decision for 2027.
All right. Now, I want us to get on to the top stories of today. The stories that have been making headlines in the last couple of hours. And we shall start with one by Tanya Wanjiko. There is this gentleman that we all like, and sometimes we also don't like. He's called Raila Amolo Odinga, and he has said that he has not said that he's running for president in 2027. Yeah, so here's the story. ODM leader Raila Odinga has left his 2027 presidential intentions open-ended, stating that he has not declared interest, but also hasn't ruled out the possibility of running. Speaking during an interview with NTV on Sunday, Odinga said his current focus is on reorganizing and strengthening the ODM party. I have not said that I'm running. I don't have to run. I can support someone else, but I can also run if I want to right now. I'm focused on strengthening ODM, he said. Now, ODM is currently preparing for internal party elections ahead of a major national delegates convention, which is scheduled for October. So baba amesema yeye hataki kuwania, oradha hajasema atawania ama hatawania uongozi wa Kenya kupitia kiti cha urais. Sasa yeye amesema ya kwamba atatulia. Kwa sasa anashughulika kufanya nini? Anazingatia kujenga chama chake cha ODM na kushughulikia yale mambo yamekuwa pale ndani. Tunajua kumekuwa na infighting. We know there have been a lot of different voices within the same ODM party. We know, there are the likes of Babwo, we know the likes of James Orengo, who've been very vocal and against the broad-based government. Yes. There's also Edwin Sifuna, the SG, Secretary General. So kumekuwa na malumbano kule ndani. Kuna wenye wako for what baba anafanya na President Ruto, na kuna wale wanasema baba.
And actually, the biggest cause of this rift, of course, was because of the shaking
process.
No. The shaking of hands. And of course, the biggest problem when the ODM, they gave out some of their officials kupewa nafasi katika serikali.
Wanasema wali donate experts.
Actually they call them experts, yes, to the governor. So kutoka hiyo time, I think that is when now kumekuwa na issues kubwa katika hicho chama. Otherwise before kulikuwa na malumbano, yes, but they were not as big as we have witnessed right now.
Right. So let's see what's going to happen going forward. But
so kama baba amesema like sijasema nitawania na vile sijasema kwamba sitawania. Ina maana kwamba kuna kitu ana try kufikiria.
Lakini baba ashajua kama anataka hiki kiti ama hataki. Unajua hii story ya kusema I'm thinking about it ni story. This is what I predict, yeah? And this is just my own personal opinion.
Yes.
So Raila Odinga right now is what experts actually in this studio have called, he is a co-president. That means he's sharing in the same power that President Ruto is commanding. All right. However, in 2027, because in our constitution there's nothing like co-president. So what is going to be Raila's role? Because he's definitely going to continue with KK till the very end. All right. So this is what I think. He is either going to get a very huge position in government, similar to what Prime Cabinet Secretary right now has, that is Musalia Mudavadi. And Prime Cabinet Secretary in another word is just Prime Minister. Okay. So they're probably going to create through a constitutional process or otherwise the position of what? Prime Minister. Or Raila Amolo Odinga might end up being running mate wa Ruto come 2027. Those are the only two options here.
The running mate point of it, I don't think.
Or
I don't think.
A distant number 3.
Just call it, but
a distant number 3 situation that might occur also is he donates another expert to be President Ruto's running mate.
Yes.
And then he continues being co-president.
Those
are the only 3 options. Either he runs as deputy president, runs as running mate rather. So either he runs as running mate, is given a prime position in government, like a prime ministerial position, or he donates an expert and continues being co-president.
Well, the one for running mate, maybe the rest.
Okay.
But now it is a big challenge for Honorable.
Yes.
Because you realize that when he sits down and looks at how things are right now.
Yes.
It is a challenge actually for the sitting president. Like unaona kwa let me say kwa grao or what is happening, and of course so najua baba anajiuliza nisimame huku ama niende kule kwingine. Lazima tu
ODM itaingia gava 2027. Hiyo nao ni given.
It doesn't matter from which coalition.
Hiyo nao ni given.
It doesn't matter from which coalition, right?
Hii sasa acha nikwambie. And opposition will lose terribly. If they do not come up with a solution now. Hii wamekuwa kituambia we don't want to front a running mate or rather a flag bearer for now. We already know Kenya Kwanza already have a running a presidential candidate, and that is President Ruto. Hiyo nayo tusijidanganye.
This other side of course tunajua.
So and President Ruto has been campaigning for the last 5 years. The opposition is waiting for I don't know what to start campaigning.
But they are still campaigning. It's only that now they have not decided on one person.
Listen, as it is right now, the opposition has got very many principles. Let's not forget, we have Maraga, we have Omtata,
Kalonzo,
we have Kalonzo, we have
Matiang'i,
we have who else? Matakarua, we have Ujama wa DAP, Wamalwa. There are so many.
There are many, yeah.
So right now, there is no presidential candidate
from the opposition
that
side
is strong enough. So they need to decide in advance. Saizi mapema watu ambie, look, our guy is Kalonzo or Maraga or Matiang'i or Omtata. Then now that particular individual starts campaigning. Aanze kuuza sera zake saizi
mapema
sababu serikali ishaanza. Tunaelewana?
Okay, that is according to you.
Thank you so much.
Sita bishana sana. Well, still on our website, Brenda Soki, there's this story she's written about what the president said, that I did not overpromise, I will deliver. That is the president. I did not overpromise, I will deliver. Yeah, this Ruto defended his administration performance, saying key economic reforms are already producing results. Yeah, so we saizi unasema promises zote, unasikia rais anasema kwamba he's going to deliver them. But actually, the other day I was saying,
yes,
it's quite important also to understand that he also needs time.
The president?
Yes.
Okay.
He also needs time. It's only that there are some things, of course, that have been happening, especially of the abductions, the brutal killings of innocent Kenyans. Of course, that is one aspect that needs to correct. But me, I feel that he really needed time. That is according to me. He really needed time, at least pay time to know what he can do. Because remember, it was 3 months, only 3 months. That's when now people started protests against this administration.
I agree that yes, indeed, President Ruto needs to be given the time that he asked for, and this is the 5 years that he has been been given by the constitution of this country.
Yes,
to rule Kenya for 5 years, and then ask for a re-election come 2027. That much we agree. Now the problem Kenyans have with him is not the fact that he's in office. Even forget all these chants out here in the streets about Ruto must go. Those ones are just people's opinions, and we respect people's opinions.
Yeah.
Now the problem Kenyans have with him is the way he is delivering the mandate that we gave him. Yes, the people are asking him, for example, fuel prices, where are they the way they are? Yet you promised us something different during campaigns. So ni mtu anamput to task. Si kwa ubaya, by the way. Ni kama sasa wewe ukikuja useme utapeleka watoto swimming, na uliwa promise, na ukiwaambia wakimaliza homework yao mapema na wakule chakula, utawapeleka swimming. Ukiwa huko swimming utawanunulia ice cream, na kutoka hapo mtaenda mfanye nini kwa swing, muende pia kwa ile merry go round. You've promised these kids all these things. Now they have their part is done.
Yes.
They have finished their work. They have done their homework. You even told them to be number 1 in class. They are number 1 in class. Tunaelewana?
So imefika wakati wangu wa kudeliver.
Ukawaambia waoge mapema. Sasa watoto wamefanya hizi vitu zote, wamefika hapa wanakuambia, mom, I have done my part. We have done our part.
Well, then,
so why are we not going for swimming? Then now you start lying to them. Ati naumwa na kichwa, wacha kichwa ipoe, nitafanya nini? Tutaenda swimming.
Well, it may not be, necessarily be a lie. Naweza kuwa kweli naumwa na kichwa. So now, what I'm saying is
no. Wayua, there's no way you will tell people, be the one that I remember the mostest, because I am one of the biggest consumers of it, is number 1, fuel. Tuliambiwa fuel itateremka. To be honest, haijateremka. Sawa. Aya, tukaambiwa gas. Mimi sijui kama unakumbuka tuliambiwa gas tutakuwa tunanunua 300. Wewe sijui kama unakumbuka mahali watu wanunua gas.
I remember very well.
Sasa unacheki haya ndiyo mambo ambayo watu wanafanya nini? Wanakasirishwa nayo. Unajua ukisema utafanya then usifanye, hata dhali ungeniambia utafanya.
Well, and there's something that I said, Mungala, I pointed out the issue of, when you're outside, you feel things are easy. Like maybe you really want to do whatever you have promised. You really want to do it, to deliver. But then when you come on the ground, you realize that the issue to do with prices is not just a command that as a president you say now the prices of fuel should come down. No, there are dynamics. There is a science behind the prices of these commodities that we are seeing, and especially the prices of fuel.
Unfortunately,
there's a science behind that, and actually
it's true.
So let me just finish.
No, kimtete,
how many times no sitetei rais mimi. What I'm saying is most of the time there are some promises that these politicians do wakienda katika hizi places. Well, it is not something, I'm not supporting that a candidate will just go outside and start promising and a promise hewa. You get, it is not right to lie to Kenyans. You get, but from where I sit, I feel like these people when they go outside there, they feel because hajaipata opportunity ya kuongoza inji, so ukiwa outside you feel that this thing is easy. Just like the way Kioni was telling us here the other day.
Pause before we endelee.
Okay,
because I want us to just recount that point of yours. Alisema, umesema ya kwamba hajaipata nafasi ya kuongoza. President Ruto has been in government since the 90s.
That is okay. Yes.
He has been not only an MP, he has been a minister. Okay? He was a minister for a very long time. An MP for a very long time. He was deputy president for 10 years. He was the second highest commander in this country, for lack of a better word.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because if it were Paul Mungala Mbuvi who just campaigned one day and then suddenly mkamu-elect, that excuse would make sense. To be honest, it would. Ni hata mimi mwenyewe nikikuja niwaambia, hey, wase sikujua kuna kaanga hivi. Niliwaambia gas itakuwa 300 lakini
nikapata mambo tofauti.
Nimerealize kwanza hiyo gas mali inatokanga inakuanga 800. So hiyo 300 hiyo unless sasa I don't know, unless tuibe haiwezekani, But that is Paul Mungala Mbuvi. If Paul Mungala Mbuvi was asking for presidency for the first time and then he got it, that would have been a very nice argument and we would have excused him and we say, siku ingine usitudanganye hivyo. Unaget? However, here's a situation whereby, forget even him being an MP and a minister, because just being a minister alone, you understand the inner workings of government. You know how to procure things even outside the country, because when he was minister for agriculture, he had the opportunity to procure things for Kenya, so he knows how things work out there. So we cannot say that alifika pale ndiye akajua kumbe ground ni different. He was deputy president.
That's okay.
He sat with Uhuru Kenyatta for 10 years. Hata kama the last 5 years tunajua ikuanga sawa, but the point is for 10 years he was there. So right now we cannot excuse him for saying that unacheki sasa hakuwa najua. Hapana.
Mungala, do you remember Kioni giving us the example of Donald Trump, the president of the US?
Yes.
Alitubia hiyo mfano when we asked him about Uhuru Kenyatta, the former president, the things that he was not able to do. And he said that even right now when you look at Donald Trump,
yes,
the way he's approaching things is quite different from the way he did in 2017
in the first term.
Yes. So basically what it means is that ukiingia the first time kuna tu vitu zingine unaweza kuwa ujui.
Hakuna. Donald Trump had never been an elected official of anything. He had never been a congressman. He had never been a senator. He had never been a council member. He had never been hata hajaikuwa hakuwa ameelectiwa kama mayor wa kitu chochote. Donald Trump alikuanga mwanabiashara na akatoka kwa biashara kama ameingia direct to the presidential office. Na ndio maana watu walikuwa nasema he is acting as though he was still doing what he had been doing in the business world. And they were telling him things are different, and that is why Kioni said in this second term of his presidency he is doing things totally different. He is not the same Donald Trump we knew before. Even his words nowadays are no longer reckless.
So can we also say that maybe President William Ruto,
But
if he
President
gets
Ruto has
reelected,
been
maybe look
an
here.
elected official for over 20 years.
Okay, what we will not agree with is the fact that he has been an elected leader in our country, but not in the capacity of a president. Not in the capacity of a president.
You know what? Let's just move on from this one because me utani convince. There's no way atakuja kusema nimekuwa sasa hii mara ya kwanza sikuwa najua. Na alikuwa
This is the first time the president has gotten the opportunity to lead the country.
Alikuanga hivi mabeste na president for 10 years. Ni nini angeulizwa wakati ajue aulize president kuliendanga aje hapa? He was deputy president. There's a time actually you remember very well. President Uhuru left the country. Na akaacha deputy president wake deputy president Ruto.
For how long?
For I think it was a week or something, or for 3 days or whatever.
So
Wacha kidogo. He left him and Ruto was president for about 3 or 4 days, if I remember very well. He sat in cabinet and chaired cabinet meetings. Mimi right now I'm not even a politician of any kind. Hata sidhani naweza itisha kuwa MCA kwetu, lakini ukinipatia nafasi hivi nikaribie the office of the president and you give me that key for a day, I will come out there being a very different person.
It's okay. Like I'm just like I'm looking at you and I'm mentioning that if today our boss today amekuja amekuachia ile ofisi for only 3 days,
aniambie shikilia radio generation
I want
for 3 days
to tell me, okay, there are some things you're going to learn,
yes,
but you're not going to learn everything about this company.
When kama
you are not going to learn everything about this country.
If I was going to be deputy CEO,
anyway, let's continue.
There's nothing like anyway. I would asema kitu alafu iacha hanging. Hakuna vile nitakuwa deputy CEO for 10 years. For 10 years. And then suddenly I'm the CEO. And then I start saying I don't know how things work here. Nikiwadanganya hivyo hata nyinyi mjue mimi ni fala.
Well, so the message is that the president has said that I did not overpromise. Nimewaahidi manyumba na wapatia. So kuna a lot of course there are so many things that the president promised, but like I told you, there are some things that of course we must call out. We must call them out, like the issues of abductions, the killing of innocent Kenyans and so forth. There are some issues of course we must call out, but sasa kuna zingine ndugu yangu, hebu tumpatieni nafasi tuone hatafanyaje.
Ndaka hii weekend ulipatana na mtu ulienda status by any chance?
No,
kile ulipatiwa kwa hata si tugawie bana.
No.
Tugawie whatever you were given, give tupatie kiasi. Aya, listen, let's check out this traffic update as we get into the newspaper review.
Traffic.
So Langata Road right now is looking good. There was construction happening over the last week at Mombasa Road, pale sehemu ya kutoka Bob Mill all the way getting into where? Getting into that area of Ecobank, kashatengenezwa kote. So right now that road is looking yeah, so no traffic at this particular hour. It is exactly 30 minutes past 6 o'clock, so you can imagine that is good news for you. If you're coming all the way from Athi River, Kitengela, Ninini, coming through to Mombasa Road, rest assured that right now traffic is moving nonetheless. Southern bypass all the way from Gong Road, if you're joining that road, if you want to come and join Mombasa Road, everything is looking good for you at this particular hour. Where else are we looking at? Ngong Road inakaa fiti. A little bit of traffic though if you're approaching the Nairobi Funeral Home, Desa University roundabout hapo. Traffic kidogo, but it's moving nonetheless.
Basically all the roads things are quite okay, except on the usual areas of congestion, like at the roundabouts, especially on Jogo Road. It is around city roundabout. Yes, that is where I'm seeing a lot of traffic. City Stadium roundabout actually. And then as you get to town through the Mudhurwa, then upande wa Thika Road, I'm seeing things are quite okay. Ukifika pale KCA, that is where we are seeing a bit of a snarl up. And also as you get to town through Ngara, we're seeing a lot of traffic there actually. Then upande wa Isili, as you get to town pale Kariakoo roundabout, hapo ndo kuna msongamano kiasi. Then going to Mombasa, lights Kengeleni kwa sasa pia kuna msongamano tu kiasi tu kidogo, but the other places things are quite okay.
All right, so anything on the road you think we should know about? Well, you know where to find us. Radio Gen KE across all socials.
Traffic on Radio Generation.
Haya, Patricia ni kama alienda State House over the weekend.
No, sometimes it's just being
wacha
sometimes
kutetea.
it is just being critical.
Wewe tupatie
You just
gazeti.
sit down and look at how things are, then
Kama kuna kitu ulipewa over the weekend, tafadhali Patricia,
there
usishibe
is
peke
nothing.
yako.
The weekend yote nimeshinda kwa nyumba. I haven't gone anywhere. It's only that.
Usishibe peke yako. Alright, so let's start with the Star newspaper. What is on the front page here? Average breadwinner supports up to 12 dependents. That is what the Star is saying. Kenyans feel the pinch as family burden intensifies. That story is on page 4 and 5. Talk of town, pimped up vehicle takes Nairobi by storm. If you don't know this matatu called Mood, well, you need to know. Inasemekana ni matatu ya
Kijana ya rais.
yes, the first son.
Is
Yeah.
it the first son?
See, he's part of the first family. See, kuna wanga first
Oh,
daughter.
okay. Oh, yeah.
Eh.
Nimelewa, yes.
Ulikuwa dhani maanisha he's the firstborn? No. I know there's another son. I think there's
Sure.
Nick somewhere. I think Nick is older than George. I don't know though. Listen. So this is what they're saying. Yeah, talk of town, pimped up vehicle takes Nairobi by storm. We shall be reading that story shortly. From prison boss to felling Moise Nyanza henchman. This is a photo of Phoebe Asiu, the late former MP wa kutoka sehemu za Kisii aliyeaga dunia. I think it was on Friday. Wycliffe Muga has a story on page 16. Weak link in Gen Z United Front, no clear demand. A story that we've been having here, by the way, asking what exactly are the Gen Z saying? You understand? They are saying a lot of things, yes. They are talking about so many agendas, but according to Wycliffe Muga on page 16 of the Star, anasema there's no clear demand, yeah? On page 9, mentor your children, police not trained in parenting. This is a warning from President Ruto. Mentor your
children.
Police not trained in parenting. According to your president. On page 9, you will read there.
Yes.
Mulikuwa na hiyo weekend?
No.
Okay. All right. So anyway, he's saying that police are not there to parent your children, especially in the streets. Them, they are there to police. And if they meet your child, they will do what they were trained to do. Kaango kijua hivyo. Haya, tuangalie hapa wanasema nini. Again, another same story about Phoebe Asiu, the woman who opened doors for gender balance. She was the first African to head maendeleo ya wanawake and named Luo Elder by council. This is a veteran politician Phoebe Asiu. So you can read the entire story on page 2 of the Star newspaper. Are you financially supporting more family members? There's a question here. You can check out on page 2. Yes. Share prices rally as directors increase stake in listed firms. Now, the top managers trend is inspiring hope about future of companies, and we can see here Cooperative Bank CEO MD Gideon Morioki. We saw that he earns $500 million every year. $500 million. How much money do you make in a year?
That's a lot.
How much money do you make in a year?
Okay. Why do you want me to start feeling bad on a Monday morning, surely? Yeah?
Yeah. Wait. Anyway, the story on page 3, still on corridors of power. So apparently, a recently appointed state official is reportedly struggling to adjust to the constant presence of bodyguards. Yes, you can check that story on page 3. Just what political magic did a little known figure use to block a seasoned politician from securing a coveted government position? Yes, that's the question residents in an expansive former province are asking. All right. Now, a vocal Kenya Kwanza lawmaker rather turned a systemic critic has suddenly found himself isolated. Corridors has learned that the firebrand man and another ally were unceremoniously ejected from all key WhatsApp groups. Watu wa serikali huko wako na stress, All right, now last but not least on page 3 still, a veteran politician from a satellite Mount Kenya county is a man under pressure and frustrated as he seeks to assuage the hostility in the region. Now the man is said to be among a team of politicians who were given facilitation and directive to camp in their backyards and try change the tides. Right.
Okay. On the Standard,
Yes.
biggest story, DCI gone rogue.
Yes.
From arresting politicians critical of the Ruto administration over their remarks to accusing rights activists of terrorism, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, has veered from the laughable to the outright absurd. Tasked with bringing science and professionalism to law enforcement, the agency now resembles a political hit squad that is doing the bidding of the powerful by enforcing a vendetta, silencing critics and trampling on fundamental freedoms with impunity. DCI boss Mohammed Amin appears hell-bent on dragging Kenya into the ranks of pariah states so long as he keeps the ruling elite satisfied. That is on page 4 and 5. So we are seeing him there, and of course we are seeing some of the comments by the opposition leader Kalonzo Musyoka, who said she is accused of incitement, yet we have heard the president and his allies tell police to shoot innocent protesters, yet an MP speaks up and is dragged into court. This is not law, it is repression. That, I think she's talking about MP of Naivasha, Jane. Unakumbuka juzi alikamatwa, and of course he was released on Friday on I think it is 50,000 cash bail, and aliachiliwa, so that now now, by the way, we have seen, even over the weekend, we have seen members of, actually followers of Gachagua, the former DCP members. Tuliona over the weekend what has happened. Walikuwa wameenda mahali kwa kanisa, wakitoka wamekamatwa. Yeah, so this is what Kalonzo is saying. It is a repression. This is not a matter of the law. It is repression. Wasema tutajua tujui.
Unless when the status kama Patricia utajua ujui.
No. I think you got me wrongly. I said there are some things that we as Kenyans of course must call out, like this one. You know, there is law, yes, and there is repression, like what Kalonzo is saying.
Of course.
So what I said is there are some things that of course must be called out. But nikasema, what if umempatia chance? Some of the other promises that he made,
right,
of course he can be, bado kuna time ya kuachieve na
watch a guest
kudeliver.
Watch a guest wetu akifika in the next hour. We shall talk about this and much more. Kwa sasa usijali, usiogope, State House ni kwenu. It is your house.
Well, yeah, of course State House ni kwetu.
It is your house. Usiogope kutembea State House. Breadwinners pain as dependency ratio goes up in tough economy. So this story is on page 4 of the Star Bado. They're talking about heavy burden as incomes stagnate or dwindle. Spiral effects acutely felt by those shouldering weight of extended families. How many people do you support?
Okay.
Financially?
So many. Yes.
Like, can you quantify? Can you say 5? Can you say 10?
No, I'm saying there are so many because
are they over 15, for example?
The support is not just a one-off thing. Like now you say at every month, I know I support this and this. Sometimes uko tu hapo unaambiwa sijui mtoto wa nani ni mgonjwa, you need to chip in. Umekaa umeambiwa sijui nani amefukuzwa shule,
right,
you need to support. Yeah, so now you cannot be able to just quantify, but of course,
yeah,
wale unaweza kuhesabu, wale unajua wanakutegemea. Not less than 5.
Okay. So this is now what other people are feeling out there, because more and more people are actually getting out of the job market. Businesses are closing. So you find like every few months someone is added into your support do I say list, calendar or list of people that you have to support. For example, tunajua watu wengi wanashughulikia wazazi wao. So not only are you taking care of your wife and children or of your husband and children, but now kuna parents. And sometimes even by extension wazazi wa your spouse. Now you can imagine at the end of the month, I don't know how much you're earning, but you can imagine at the end of the month, whatever amount of money you get, you have to support your parents.
You know, your parents are in the list.
Yeah.
Your in-laws are also in the list. Sijui ndugu yako is also in the list.
Na by
your
the way,
sister, yes.
Na by the way, usipo, they have nowhere else to turn. Because the next best option for them apart from you is this statement that we usually like using. Serikali saidia. Yeah. So that story is on page 4. check it out if you want to understand. But just to give you a few figures here, 1.2 million people pushed out of formal jobs per year since 2020. Yeah. 83.2% of pensioners in Kenya still have dependents. 83.2% of pensioners. Pensioners.
Yani yule anakula pension.
Ako na dependents bado na yeye anafaa kuwa akishughulikiwa ama at least akienjoy retirement yake. Young people aged between 18 to 24 and those over 25 depend on retirees. Let's say this again. Young people aged between 18 and 24 and those over 25 depend on retirees. So you find that there's a 25-year-old depending on
their retired
parents.
Father. Hey.
Na sana especially tukienda kitambo kidogo wakati wa wazazi wetu, it is our fathers who used to work. So you find that your mother actually doesn't even have an income of any sorts. She doesn't have a pension. So kale kitu babako anapata kadogo, nyinyi wote mnakakula,
mnategemea.
And God forbid this 25-year-old is a baby daddy somewhere. Alafu unapata
issue yako ya baby daddies.
Unapata mtu, ngoja kidogo, unapata mtu ako deadbeat. Mnashangaa ni kwa nini? I'm not encouraging deadbeatness by the way.
History yako ya baby daddies tutakuja kuizungumzia siku moja hapa.
Tutakuja kuongelea, haina shida.
Tutaizungumzia hapa siku moja. Well, still on issues of dependency and stories za kikazi, Employment Authority is under fire from senators.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is what it said, that it has been put on the spot for failing to register employment agencies that swindled job seekers. Several victims revealed they are yet to get visas to enable them travel to the places. Actually, we're talking of people giving out even over 100,000 shillings just to secure a job opportunity outside the country, and then kuna mtu anameza hizo pesa zote. Yeah. I saw even the other day Alfred Mutua calling upon these agencies waende appear to the DCI. So I'm like, okay, why are you just telling them to appear? Simuwaende, you know where they are.
No, but you see, you're always given you're always given an opportunity to come and explain yourself. You know, because DCI kukujia, it's a different situation.
You know, I'm looking at it from the perspective of now, people have been conned of money. Yeah, people have been conned of money. So do you tell these people ambao hawana hata ofisi, like you know how some of these agencies operate wewe? Today they have an office here.
Yep.
So they are recruiting people to go to maybe to Qatar from here.
Yes.
At George Padmore. Then kesho mnaenda pale, mnaenda mnapata kunanga ofisi pale. Hiyo ofisi, it is no longer there. Unaambiwa kwamba this tenant hata alikuwa na madeni ya rent, hata alitoka. Kuna wengine wanakuanga na briefcase offices, employment agency offices kwa briefcase. Yeah, anatembeanga tu. So in just one day utasikia people are being called in an hotel somewhere. So mnaambiwa kuja, leta documents zako, leta fee. And that is the last time you're seeing that person. Kesho hapatikani.
Right.
So I think it is high time now that they put a sanity in that area, because we have had so many people by there wamekuwa conned of their money. And remember this story this year kumekuwa na story nyingi sana za hizi conning, job scamming, especially hizi za kwenda majuu. And of course the government came out and said that we are not involved.
And actually the government spokesman
and warned Kenyans,
deputy spokesperson Gabriel, who was here last week, he said that there are those who have been qualified by the government to actually provide these opportunities, and he said the only way you can find out, the best way to find out actually, is just to go through the government website, the labor website, so that we can know who
is registered and who is not.
Who will actually help.
But now the problem is, you remember they are saying if you do not go, they've told these agencies that if they do not go, they do not attend that summon.
Yes.
They will be deregistered. That means some of them are already registered.
Yeah.
But they are not operating within the regulations of the agency, the Employment Act.
Let's wait and see how that pans out, because again, People have been warned, and also, as much as we would like to blame the government and so on and so forth, I think we also need to do due diligence. So
sometimes we are just ignorant.
Watapeli ni wengi pale nje, and sometimes also those tapelis wanakanga very authentic and legit.
Actually, I was looking at the story when they were saying that I don't know where that recruitment was being done. Alafu wewe umefika pale nje, you meet somebody outside there. Imagine unakuwa conned kwa mlango ya kuingia katika ofisi ya serikali. What are you doing surely?
Yeah. Government business should be done inside the office.
Get into the office.
Yeah.
Nenda kwa counter pale so that in future you can go back and say nilikuja kwa hii counter, I was served by so and so. Wewe unakoniwa tu kwa mlango ya kuingia katika ofisi ya serikali ambapo unatakiwa usaidiwe.
But you know, also sometimes these people who come from, let me call it Ushago, they don't know better. Mtu unajua saa zingine mtu amekuja Nairobi kwa mara ya kwanza. Anafika pale, anaulizia tu kwa barabara, anauliza, hey, how do I get to, for example, Ministry of Education? Anaambiwa enda hivi, piga kona. Akishafika anaona ndio hili jumba. Hajui services ziko ndani ama ziko nje. Unaget? Sababu Ushago, watu wamezoeanga hata nje unaweza saviwa. Kama ni kiosk ziko nje. Kama ni duka hata unaweza tumana ukiwa nje uletewe mkate na maziwa. Sasa amefika Nairobi, anaona mtu amevaa suti pale nje. They don't know better. So if they are told bring your documents, they give, because sasa zingine they even intimidated to get inside. Mtu anashangaa sana nikiingia pale ndani nitauliza nani, nitaita nini, nitafanya nini.
It's quite unfortunate, but for someone mwenye anataka kwenda kufanya kazi ya nje, I'm expecting they have a little knowledge yenye hata anaweza kusoma kitu hata kwa mtandao. I think because you somebody seeking for employment outside the country, kuna tu kidogo, kuna some, because unaenda kwa a foreign country, that means kuna vitu unahitajika kujua in that country. So huwezi kutoka tu blindly, you just want to follow anybody.
Please, what I would advise anyway is if you have a relative who's coming to Nairobi, please take them through these ropes. Otherwise, watajipata, you know, they call it the concrete jungle.
Yes.
And it is called a jungle for a reason.
Na watu ambao wanatafuta kazi, usiiweke kama siri. Sometimes seek for advice. Usiiweke siri sana. Unajua kuna mtu mwenye amesikia opportunity, ameiweka kama siri. Anatoka mpaka siku ile amekoniwa. That's when now people get to know, so fulani alikuwa anapasu kwenda kufanya kazi nje.
But unajua wanaogopa kurogwa. No, it's you know, we are Africans and we need to admit where we also have issues. I know people who will never tell me that they are doing ABCD. Why? Because they are afraid for some strange reason that the story, once it leaks out there, the opportunity might be jinxed. So for example, if I know I'm supposed to go to Netherlands, for example, I've gotten an opportunity, whether it's a new job or a scholarship, ninatulia mpaka ile siku nitaenda mpaka nipate ticket yangu ya KQ.
That's when now you'll
ama ya KLM. Ndio niambia, but the guys, I'm flying out on Friday. But it's not like I didn't know 5 days ago. It's not like I didn't know when I was applying. So there are people who believe the moment you tell people your plans zinaingia maji. That is why someone was applying for a scholarship, he told everyone, then the scholarship didn't come through, then they now start blaming people from their village. Watu wa Ushago wananiroga, sijui nini imefanyika. It's unfortunately,
let's agree that this is a responsibility for all of us. The government has the responsibility, of course. Sasa kutuambia conmen wako kila mahali.
Yes.
It is your responsibility to regulate that field. It is not the responsibility of Kenyans. Now, the Kenyans have a responsibility of observing due diligence in whatever thing that you are doing. Of course, yeah.
Okay. Financial discipline key to long-term success for SMEs. Story is on page 6 of the Star. Daniel Muhia from MGK Consulting talks on how businesses can remain silent. Yes. On page 7, from a roadside kibanda, Kilifi woman builds catering empire. These are the kinds of stories we've had. And I told guys, when they get into entrepreneurship, ingeni kwa entrepreneurship.
Biashara ni nzuri.
Muna ngoja hapa hivi muandikwe kazi na serikali. Hizo kazi hazitoshi.
Mungala is still on the Standard newspaper. There's this story that has been getting funds.
Yes.
But apparently it has no tutors.
It has no?
It has no teachers.
Okay.
Yeah, we are talking of Bishop Okunde. Yeah, Aburi Secondary School.
Right.
Yes, and this is what the story says. The institution was launched in 2022 amid a lot of excitement in the local community. It doesn't get government capitation or TSC teachers, but its students sit the KCSE exam. Actually, sorry, I don't know what I had said. It's a story of a school in Busia County,
right,
with no tutors and no funds, but iko na wanafunzi. You get?
Okay.
Yeah.
So they operate.
Ndio hapo tunajiuliza maswali. Wanasema kwamba when Bishop Okude Aburi Secondary School opened its doors in 2022,
yes,
it was seen as a ray of hope for the remote Lukolis village in the Teso South. Parents whose children were forced to trek several kilometers to access a school believed they had finally found a solution. However, today, that dream remains a mirage as the government continues to neglect the institution. While we have a lot of other schools, ghost schools actually,
yes,
that have been getting capitation. Tuko na mashule, the other day we were talking about schools here wenye wamekuwa kipata capitation, but the school does not exist, or it was closed down. But wanapata, yet we have other schools that are operating na wapati hiyo capitation, they do not have anything. Okay. Hata hawana walimu, so inabidi nyinyi mnajiandikia walimu.
Lakini wanafunzi wanajifunza.
No, inabidi mnatafuta nyinyi wenyewe.
O muandike walimu alafu mnawalipa out of your
pockets. I remember, yeah, do you remember Kitambo we used to have that practice whereby now the board of directors of that school walikuwa wanaenda wanaandika walimu ambao nyinyi mnawalipa. So a parent, you get into your pocket to pay.
Yeah, these particular teachers.
Yes.
I mean, if the school can afford, why not? But sasa shida ni kama ni ya serikali. No, listen, I'm trying to say that you also can't wait. You won't sit around and just wait for things to happen. You also make them happen yourself. Yeah.
You have to push.
Yeah, because by the time mungoje serikali come through, time is not on your side. KCSE is still coming. And KCSE won't be stopped because school A did not have enough teachers. KCPE itafanyika bado.
I'm so sure that these people, of course, they have been requesting for teachers, because hata ukisoma katika hiyo story, because I've not read the whole story, ukisoma inasema kwamba when we tried getting,
yeah.
Okay, first of all, let me start here where they are saying that without it, the school exists in limbo, recognized by NEC for exams, but ignored by the education system for staffing and resources. So they say, we tried to get teachers from TSC, but we were told without IPPD, we can't help you. But generating the code is the government's job and not their job.
It is what it is. But me I'm saying, msingoje pia watoto wakae hivi in the name of serikali saidia ama serikali ifanye kitu yenye inafaa kufanya na juu hajafanya, sasa mnajipata bado mnaendelea kuumia.
Do you know it is
kesi baadaye.
The responsibility of education in this country belongs to the government.
But now if you do
it
not
is
have
not the
teachers,
people's, it is not the people's responsibility. You know why I'm saying so? If you know, kama NEC imewakubali kwamba mnaweza kufanya mtihani, if you are recognized by NEC, why are you not being recognized for capitation, for resources? Why are you not being recognized?
I'm saying it is wrong, but I'm also saying msikae hapo mkingoja serikali ifanye kitu.
Yes.
Na mnaweza fanya kitu on yourselves as you wait for this other one. Ndio nasema for now, act, work, do something. Kesi baadaye.
I think you're not getting, they have been doing all that. So
yes.
Right now they are speaking out so that now the government can act.
And I'm saying thumbs up to them. They are doing the right thing. Because time waits for no man.
Good.
Raila, I'm with Ruto until 2027. That is on the front page of the Daily Nation. Harambee Stars play Tanzania in 2024. Chan warm-up tourney. That also on the back page. Activist Boniface Mwangi to face terrorism charges. And he'll be arraigned today after 2 days in police cells. That story is on page 2. Yeah. Then KDF locks meal allowance in new system. Kenya Defence Forces KDF personnel will no longer directly access their meal cash allowance after a directive from military leadership locked the funds under the newly implemented pay-as-you-eat system. Now, the directive aims to prevent service members from using the meal allowance as collateral for loans. Here, it follows reports that some personnel have had to go without meals since the scrapping of the food subsidy program. That story is on page 2 of the Daily Nation. So if you open up there, you will see. But Raila here about him supporting Ruto until 2027. So according to the Orange Democratic Movement leader Raila Odinga, he has for the first time ruled out an early political exit from the broad-based government with the Kenya Kwanza administration, declaring that he is firmly aligned with President William Ruto at least until the 2027 general election. Now, in a wide-ranging interview, the former Prime Minister proposed doing away with the voters' register and allowing Kenyans to cast their ballots using only their ID cards. He also criticized impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua as divisive. That story is on page 4 and 5. And this goes into what we had said earlier on, that if he's going to stick with President Ruto till the very end,
Yes.
he's either going to be his running mate in 2027 or he is going to provide a lieutenant for President Ruto. And then he still remains to be the co-president that political analysts have been, labeling him here in the studio. And I think he might actually take the latter, providing someone for President Ruto.
Yeah, I think the honorable, he's way above a running mate position, by the way. We just saw the other day here, running mate position. It's only when the president is not there.
Yes.
That is, according to the constitution, that is their work.
Yeah.
So without that, wewe sasa itakuwa inabidi, you are just at the mercy of the president. And I don't think that Raila would accept that. Being at the mercy of the president, like kuna tule siku ataka hivi aseme now, let me send my DP aende akani represent sijui wapi. Wacha nitume nani sijui aende akani represent. Do you think anaweza fanya kitu kama hicho kweli?
I mean,
no.
It's not out. There's someone actually who came here the first days we did this show, and he said, guys, you would be shocked at the kind of coalition that Baba and President Ruto will have in 2027. Yes, alituambia hapa, you'll be shocked by the kind of coalition we are looking. Akasema mambo si venye tu mnaona hapa kwa TV, mnasoma kwa magazeti na kelele watu wanapiga kwa barabara. Yes. Anyway, lead on Kenya's battle with Mexican drug cartel lifted. So there's a story here. Businessman Asumo's arrest and discovery of methyl lab points to a growing entrenchment in the region. Here, a methamphetamine lab linked to the Mexican cartel in Olelopo village, Namanga in Kajiado County. We saw this story, and this is a very I think we need to also focus on this particular situation. Let's not get too distracted with politics and we forget the drug problem in Kenya.
True.
And especially if we have something in the name of a drug cartel from Mexico operating in Kenya, that one should give us a lot of stress. Anyway, right now, we want to get into the news with Winnie Maganga. Hopefully our guest has arrived. Na kama hajafika msijali, bado conversations ni nyingi za kusemwa hapa katika Radio Generation. Don't go too far. We will be right back. Right now though, here's the news with Winnie Maganga.
Radio Generation, home of hard truths and bold insights.
Every hour, every day.
It's 7 o'clock.
Radio Generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. Investigations have been launched following the protest staged by Kaplong Girls High School in Bomet of alleged sexual harassment by a male teacher. The school was closed indefinitely after students went on rampage on Saturday night protesting alleged sexual harassment by a section of academic staff, among other grievances. Some students sustained minor injuries following unrest, which also resulted in the destruction of school property. He is a member of the school's board of management.
So investigations are already going on. By the time the teams complete the investigations, we'll get to know what were the causes, and the various agencies will proceed to address the issues. We have also made arrangements for our students to come back. They were sent home today in the morning. The first class, that is a Form 4 class, will be coming back on Thursday.
President William Ruto has underscored the vital role of parents in shaping the moral and social development of their children. He warned that law enforcement agencies cannot and should not take on the duties of parenting. Speaking on Sunday, July 20th, 2025, at the African Inland Church, Bomani in Machakos County, Ruto called on parents and religious institutions to actively guide and mentor the youth. He described the task of raising future generations as a collective societal obligation.
The police are trained to deal with criminals. They are not trained in parenting. So, if you surrender your children to the police, what do you expect? Please, every parent, including me, I take time to parent my children, and so must everybody. Sindio jameni? Yes. So, let us be responsible. Let us. And I've told you, watoto wetu is the biggest asset we have. Their energy, their talent, their education is important for building Kenya going forward.
Police in Kapsabet town in Nandi County are searching for an athlete who brutally injured his fellow athlete's private parts following a conflict. Joseph Kipkemboi, who also serves as the caretaker at a local athlete's camp, sustained grievous injuries on his private parts following the attack by the suspect, who remains at large. Kipkemboi says the dispute erupted after a directive not to enter the camp with alcoholic drinks, which the suspect flouted, leading to the attack.
Sasa wakakuja ingia kwa nyumba yao, mwingine alikuwa anaitwa Abraham Cheroben, ako ndani. Sasa kwa kumusha hawa wakakuja wakiwa wawili na wasichana wawili, wakaingia kwa hiyo nyumba room next, nyumba ingine apart from this big house. Sasa kuko akachomoka nje, akakuja kutoa pulp ya ndani ya security. Sasa nikafuatilia, nikamwambia kuko, mbona unaenda unachukua pulp? Sasa akaanza kunirushia mateke na ngumi. Sasa kustukia kidogo amenikusa pale mbaya kabisa. Sasa nimeumia kabisa, niko na shida, niko nahitaji justice kabisa.
Nandi Central Police Boss Silas Kiogora says they are searching for the suspect. Kenya's financial position is on a positive trajectory, says Treasury CS John Mbadi. Speaking over the weekend in Suba South, Mbadi defended his performance at the helm of the National Treasury. He stated that he had achieved more within a short period than some of his predecessors. He stated that since taking office in August 2024, the government has managed to stabilize inflation and meet debt obligations on time.
And there is this talk that this government is not performing, is distraction, is diversionary. I can prove that we have made serious milestones. First, our economy is improving. Go and see the reports that are coming about the liquidity in the economy. For the first time in so many years, the national government was able to transfer all the money allocated to county.
A sustained Ukrainian drone attack on Russia caused Moscow's major airports to be temporarily closed and saw at least 140 flights cancelled, officials say. More than 230 Ukrainian drones were downed over Russia since Saturday morning, including 27 over the capital. According to Russia's aviation watchdog, the four major airports serving the capital were disrupted and more than 130 flights also had to be redirected. All have since resumed normal operations. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning. I'm Winnie Maganga.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast. Curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
Yes, indeed, we are the home of hard truths and bold insights. This is Radio Generation 88.8 in Nairobi, internationally recognized on rgk.co.ke. Welcome.
Karibu. Yeah, my name is Trisha Wai, and of course, on our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, you will find us at Radio or Generation Kenya. That is on X platform, by the way, where we are live and direct.
Yes.
You can get us on Radio Gen KE. There you will be able to follow the conversations that we are doing here. And of course, we are expecting some guests.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
As they make their way through, we'll still go through what's happening in the papers this particular morning. And we were just talking about President Ruto's pact with Raila. Wish them all the best as far as that is concerned. We also talked about the lead on Kenya's battle with Mexican drug cartels, a story that we need to be very, very careful about, because if we do not check it right now, it might become a very bad menace going forward. Yeah. Then we have this issue about activist Boniface Mwangi, who is said to be arraigned on terrorism charges today. Activist Boniface Mwangi is today said to be arraigned at the Kahawa Law Courts on terrorism related charges after spending 2 nights in custody at the Pangani police station in Nairobi. His arrest has triggered sharp condemnation from civil society organizations, legal experts, and political figures who accuse the government of misusing anti-terrorism laws to criminalize peaceful dissent and suppressive civic freedoms. Yeah. Now, the DCI confirmed Mr. Mwangi's arrest via a post on its official X account, stating that the activist was being held in connection with the facilitation of terrorist activities during the June 25th, 2025 protests. Apparently, walipata vitu kwa nyumba yake, guruneti, some, I think, cartridges, some bullets. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I don't want to speak about whatever they got into in his house. What maybe we should just look at is that this aspect of because we saw Boniface Mwangi. First of all, he was we remember he was is it kidnapped in the TZ? Should we call it that?
He was held incommunicado
in TZ, and actually we know how he got back to the country. Na alikuja with a lot of alisema kwamba aliumizwa.
Ndio.
Yes. Now, of course, from that day, a lot has been happening, and the push for, of course, the Tanzanian government to be accountable for whatever happened to Boniface Mwangi and even the other lady. Is it Agatha from Uganda?
Yes, Agatha.
Yes, from Uganda. So basically, a lot has been happening, and again, also we have seen what is happening in the country. Issues to do with the Gen Zs, maandamano
kabisa,
na mambo mengi yamefanyika katika hii nchi so far as we speak. So now he has been arrested, and of course it is not even him alone.
Yes,
we have also seen we just talked about the Naivasha MP who was also arrested with regards to the maandamano. We have seen other leaders by the pia ambao wanakamatwa kwa sababu ya maandamano, and remember,
ndio,
you know, so far this is being treated as terrorism in our country. Anybody ambaye alihusika katika apparently ama allegedly alihusika katika maandamano ya Gen Zs,
yes,
it is being treated as people who helped in terrorism actually. Yes. So I do not understand, like because we are waiting to see what happens out of those allegations.
He's going to go to court today. Court is ofunguliwa saa 2 asubuhi, so I'm sure maybe before we leave this studio we might know a thing or two about this whole Boniface Mwangi story rather. Raila unveils plan for
risasi ambazo alipatikana nazo, are they used or not used?
Unused.
Unused. Okay. You know, I was looking at it like maybe ni zile risasi ambazo pengine wanaweza kuwa walichukua kama evidence they want to go and show.
Yeah, they found them, according to the DCI, they found them in his house. So they found him with those unused canisters, tear gas canisters. Kuna risasi kadhapo zilipatikana. So hiyo kesi itafika kotini,
watatuambia what happens next.
Raila unveils plan for grassroots led national dialogue. That story is on page 5. Yeah, former PM says it will be by the people and not political leaders. Grassroots-led national dialogue. So clearly he's not going to let this conclave go away. Yeah,
he's really pushing for it.
ODM leader Raila Odinga has unveiled a blueprint for people-driven national dialogue that he believes could help Kenya confront its deepening socio-political crisis and reset the country's governance culture. Dubbed the intergenerational and national conclave, Mr. Odinga's plan envisions a layered bottom-up process that brings together Kenyans from across the country to deliberate on pressing issues and propose solutions. This will culminate in a national forum of grassroots delegates, members of parliament, civil society and other key stakeholders. Unakumbuka tukisema who are going to be here? Yeah, so he has mentioned that itakuwa na parliamentarians, civil society groups. Kumaanisha nyinyi mkijisikia kama kanisa, you want to contribute to this dialogue, you do so. And by the way, as much as people have been saying, oh, dialogue, no more time for dialogue, maybe there are those people who want to have a dialogue. So I think there are voices that are louder than others. And we might end up thinking they are the majority. And even if they are the minority, nonetheless, at the end of the day, kama kuna watu wangependa kuketi na waongea, hata kama ni watu watatu, tafadhali wapatiwe nafasi.
You know, I think so many people, they do not have a problem with talking, with sitting down and having a dialogue, because of course, for a nation to reach where it is right now, there have been talks all over. Hata ikiwa ni katika level ya MCS, people talk to get solutions. Manake every other day, of course, as a country will be faced with challenges that need different opinions to come to reach to an agreement. So I think why some people do not want this dialogue, I think because it is coming maybe from His Honorable Raila. I think that is the reason, because of course kumekuwa na a lot of dialogues ambazo, but most of them, of course, Raila has been there. So I think if maybe ingekuwa imetoka na Gen Zs, let's say today it is the Gen Zs who said now we want to talk, pengine people would have looked at it in a different perspective. That is my feeling. So because from the meetings, that the dialogues that have been done before, where His Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga was involved, people feel like they did not yield, and to some extent others feel like it was for his personal gain.
Right.
So that is the reason why maybe people do not want anything to do with the dialogue again. So assuming today it came from the Gen Zs.
Right. What, the proposal to have a dialogue?
Yes. Maybe it kama ingekuwa imetoka kwa Gen Zs, I don't know pengine how ingekuwa perceived, ama how ingekuwa received by the other section of Kenyans.
Right. I think at the end of the day, if the Gen Zs are the ones who had requested for a dialogue, perhaps things would have been very simple. However, they would need to propose people to be in that dialogue. You see, that's my understanding of if they wanted a dialogue, how they would have wanted to do it.
Whichever case, because even His Honorable himself, see ameweka hapo hivyo the kind of people would want to be in that dialogue. Lazima sumona hapo amepropose the kind of people, maybe kama ni wabunge,
ndio,
kama ni Gen Zs, kama ni leaders.
Right.
Just, so of course I feel reception ingekuwa a bit different, looking at where we have come from as a country.
Right.
But negotiations, dialogues, they are quite important for any, actually hata si serikali, even in our family setups, people talk to get solutions.
All right. Wacha tuone. Wakishasema wanataka kuwa na dialogue, wacha tuone hiyo dialogue itakuwa namna gani. Raila Odinga has provided a blueprint. Amesema au kutakuwa na civil society groups, kutakuwa na parliamentarians, na hao watu wote amewataja, kila mtu atapatiwa nafasi ya kufanya nini, ya kupropose ni nani atakuwa hapo. But I'm feeling that this process might take so long that by the time we decide who's going to be sitting,
it is 2027.
Anyway, it's time for us to introduce our guest for today, and have a conversation around the politics of this country and the milestone. Sorry about that. And the milestone so far. Aya, so we do have Peter Musendu. He's a political analyst. Peter, welcome to the show. First of all, I hope I've pronounced your name correctly. Is it Musendu or Muchendu?
I think it's Muchendu. But naturally, the Kikuyu language hides that
H.
That H.
Ah, okay.
You sound it when you are you are mentioning the name.
So mimi nimeisoma na Kizungu.
Totally understand.
Wazungu wangesema Musendu. Peter, welcome to Radio Generation.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, this is my colleague Patricia Waiua.
Yes.
Let's get right into this conversation.
Yes.
The Kenya Kwanza government at half term.
Yes.
In your opinion, how is their performance so far?
I think they have done fairly good. If you are to consider the amount of criticism that started almost immediately when the government took over,
right,
amidst all this crisis, I think they have done fairly good. I mean, you look at people started criticizing government 1 year into power, and that is when most politicians who are not successful in clinching power then started poisoning people against this government. And we must ask ourselves as Kenyans, where were we when the KK government came to power? Those are the questions. People just want to pretend to have selective amnesia of where we were as a country before KK took power. Where were we in a country? We were in a country that was not feeding itself. And that is the truth. We had to go for subsidies to be able to feed our people. So therefore, that means then that the KK government took power when they needed to look at how can we sustain to even feed our people. That is number one. Number two, they came to power when the previous government led by the Honorable Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta decided to go to our dollar reserve and try and caution Kenyans against the rising cost of fuel. And therefore we gave Kenyans the artificial cost of fuel, and it was no longer sustainable to use our dollar reserve to be able to get that fuel. We even had to go for G2G government agreement to be able to get fuel. And that meant that that weekend our Kenya shillings, you would remember, it had even fluctuated one time to over 150 shilling.
Right.
That meant bad for business. It meant bad for people who are exporting coffee, exporting tea. And these are some of the challenges that we failed to tell Kenyans. But I also have a challenge to those people who are handling comms for KK government.
That's communication.
Communication.
Okay.
Because when the president was sworn in, he probably found the situation was far more worse than it was far more worse than what he found.
Okay.
As the president, it was the job of the comms to prepare Kenyans for the storm that is gonna rock this country if we have to revive the economy. I'll give you an example. Barack Obama is elected in 2008 and he becomes the American president. When he got to Washington and got to the White House, he realized that the situation of the American economy does not warrant, and it's not gonna help him achieve what he promised the American people, that yes, we can and he can achieve. So the first core business of Barack Obama was to go doing town hall meetings to be able to recalibrate the promises he made to Americans. Look, I told you we are going to do this, but when I look at the economy of this nation, it is not going to be possible to do 1, 2, 3, but we will try to achieve to get universal health care for all Americans. We will try to revive the dying industrialization like in the state of Pennsylvania and other places.
Right.
But this much we may not be able to achieve with my first term, but I promise you, as long as I'm the president, I will make sure we do this. But it's not going to happen in the first term. That is the biggest challenge that faces the KK government, which I personally support, because did we reorganize the thinking of Kenyans around all the promises we made as an outfit that wanted to form government? Did we prepare them that there is gonna be challenges in terms of what we need to do to reorganize our tax regime, what we need to do to reorganize our production, what we need to do to reorganize our industrialization. There is gonna have to be some pain that people are gonna go through if we have to make this economy sustainable. And I guess Kenyans really never recovered from the whole lot of promises by government. I know that this government has failed, but it is because there are Kenyans who still measure this government in accordance to the promises made.
Okay.
But as you know, Kenyans will hold you accountable to what you said and pray bride and have selective amnesia to the processes and procedures you need to do to get where you are as government.
Okay, you have said, you've given an example of Barack Obama, what
Yes.
he did after he got into power when he realized that he's not able to achieve whatever
Yes.
he had promised.
Yes.
But here in Kenya, I remember when the KK government took over, I remember they said that they found empty covers.
Yes.
Do you remember then?
I remember.
So, okay, how would have Kenyans be prepared better than that?
But you see, the argument here is, I have come and I have found there is no money in the bank. What is the logical thing to do? You cannot tell Kenyans there is no money and tomorrow continue holding on to the promises you made, because promises for government are utilized and made to happen through finances. And therefore what I expected, and one of the things I am proud, and that is why I'm talking about the communication part of it, because you realize that this government has not really brought so many new roads in this country, especially from where I come in Mount Kenya. We have not started giving contract to new roads. We have focused on finishing and doing the roads that were already started by the previous government, like the Mau Mau roads. Like the last time the president was in China a few months ago, the money he leveraged is part of the money that has enabled contractors to get back in Mount Kenya and other places. So the government decides we don't have money, we will not do a whole lot of roads, because if you look at the procurement processes between 2013 and 2022 against the procurement process of this government on roads, you realize that there is a redundance of almost 70% in terms of giving contract to new roads. So government scaled down on doing new roads rather than they focused on doing the already existing roads that are not complete. But has the communication department been able to do that, communicate to Kenyans to understand the measures the government has taken? That is one. Number two, the government decided we are no longer going to give subsidy on the fuel cost. We want to allow the international market to take its course, and we want to stabilize the Kenya shillings by no longer going back to the reserve to get money to give subsidy, which in the long run hurts our economy. But how many Kenyans have been given something that is being packaged for them to understand? This speaks to the people handling government comms. What are they doing specifically on a single sub-department called public communication? Public communication. And this I challenge because I am I support this government with no conditions, but we must always say the truth that if communication is failing, how is the Kenyan living in Gabratura somewhere at the corner of Kenya, so many kilometers away from here, going to understand that the government has taken time to do this because of 1, 2, 3? It is for the communication to package. Let me ask you, you all of us, we have come here in Nairobi, we come from our respective villages. How many people in your village use the X as a mean of communication?
Just the young people, only the young people.
Not even all the young people, a percentage of the young people. How many people are in TikTok in the villages? A percentage of those young people you are talking about. Same case with all social media. But then you realize part of government communication which are very important are only being made in those platforms. Have we taken time to actually localize communication? How do you communicate to somebody that is in Kerio Valley today? how do you communicate to somebody that is in a place called Mandela? These are some of the things I am talking about, because the reason why those that are opposed in this government continue to make inroads with the people, it is because they have realized there is a gap in communication, and when there is a gap in communication, we are living in a world that is full of fake news.
In your opinion, how do you think they should communicate?
I think they need to tailor-made communication, because we are a nation of many communities. We are a nation that have different way of accessing, have a different way of processing news, because today a man that comes from where I come, they say they are business oriented, and the common denominator amongst my community is looking for Kenya shilling. So their business, their mind is set on business and how they will make money.
Right.
So there is a way of thought that they process. If you go to other places like, say, Kericho, where there is tea and everything and what have you, there is different ways of communicating. Surely you cannot communicate to a person, living in Limuru in the same way you will communicate to a person in Lamu who does not even have a title D.
That's true.
All I'm saying, let those charged with communication tailor-make communiques that are going to speak.
So do they do it on radio, on newspapers? Do they do billboards?
Like right now, when you and I are speaking, there is a certain age group that we are communicating to today. Let me ask you, how often do you find people communicating for government coming to speak in directs in Western Kenya? Directs in Mount Kenya and other places.
So you're saying they should take advantage of the vernacular stations?
That is what I'm that's what I'm saying, because let me tell you, I have not come here because government sent me. I've come here because I was invited by Radio Generation to come and speak, and I will come and speak about what government has done because I'm passionate about what government does. But how often do those people charged with the responsibility of communication make this happen? I have put this challenge before my friend Mudhuma, who I have had being interviewed right here.
He was here on Monday.
Yes, he is a personal friend of mine for many years. I've put this in him. Tell me, this week, how many people have you planned and listed that you will go and speak to people in Western Kenya? Because the reason I'm saying that, the project that government is doing in Mount Kenya, Limuru constituency, where I come from, are fairly different from what is being done in your constituency. So when I get someone from your area to go and speak to those people, he will go and speak to the project that government is speaking, and that is another mistake.
Okay, I think that is fair enough. Of course, there is a challenge, but I also want to challenge you. You have said that things are not as the government maybe envisioned in terms of the state of the economy, the way they found it. They cannot be able to deliver whatever they promised.
Yes.
Yet the president just the other day said that he did not offer promise everything that he promised that he's going to deliver.
You see, that is the whole point. When we give ourselves the constitution, we give ourselves the constitution that says that the president can be there for 10 years, not more than 10 years, if you get lucky to get the 2 terms. The president is very categorical, and that is something people keep missing. The president saying that during my constitutional tenure in office, I will make sure that I fulfill. What is the constitutional tenure in office? It is 10 years if he get elected 5 years. And I mean, we live in this country. There are things that this government has done that are very nice. Like, people think that affordable housing is just another, overrated. It is just another overrated project. I can tell you, if we want to talk about the Asian nations that have excelled economically, Malaysia, Taiwan, you talk about Singapore. One of the things that they had to deal with to be able to get to help it is housing. But you see, there are also things that will not happen in 5 years. For instance, in 5 years we are not going to achieve 100% electricity connectivity in this republic, we are not going to achieve the kilometers of roads that we promised, because economy, it is not that the president does not want to do it, but basically the numbers and the economy does not allow them to do the number of kilometers that we promised. They will probably get somewhere near there, but they will. That is what I am saying. Let the communication people package communication that prepares people. I'll give you an example. I come from a ward in Limuru called Deya Ward. Limuru is known for what? When you hear about Limuru, two things come to mind.
Baridi bingi.
Baridi and tea.
Yes.
Those are the basically. So when I tell people I come from Limuru constituency, they think of tea, they think of Baridi, where I'm told it's the headquarter, but it is a myth. I can tell you there are places that are colder than Limuru. But where I come from in Deya, there is no single shrub of tea.
Okay.
Zero. It is a semi, in fact, at the Kenya National Data of Bureau of Statistics, it is classified as a semi-arid area. But you see, a leader from government who is not well believed comes to Limuru in Deya Ward and starts talking about the benefit of coffee, the benefit of tea, to people who have never seen a single shrub of coffee. They have never seen tea. They don't have a majorly known that is a cash crop that they grow. It is because when government readers, and that is one of the things communication needs to do, people who are already entrusted with readership, let them be trained to tailor-make conversations that fit the people they are speaking to. When do they go to the ground? When you come to where I come from in Deya, you talk about roads, you talk about electricity, which government has done. That's what I am saying. You don't have to have political rhetoric that don't make sense. Why are you going to speak to people who have never seen coffee about the benefit of coffee? Are they gonna resonate with that? No. You need to, and that is what I am saying. The communication people needs to be intentional, because that person is speaking a good thing which government has done in coffee. We have never had a coffee payout in the entire history of Kenya like we have today, at 130 going all the way per kg. But he is telling the wrong people who have no idea. They don't even know what coffee was in 1990. That's what I'm talking about.
All right,
it is one of the problem in government.
Peter, I want us to do traffic for minutes. Then
Yes.
when we return, I want us to go back to where you say that it is unachievable to have all these things in 5 years, yeah?
Yes.
Yet Kenyans are seeing very different things. So do stand by for that.
Traffic.
Haya, ninaangalia barabara zetu. Let's just start with Ngong Road. Ngong Road right now is bumper to bumper. It's exactly 34 minutes past 7 o'clock. So that means we have about 26 or so minutes to the top of the hour. And that is the situation right now on your road. Especially pale when you're approaching, let me see. If you're coming from if you're joining Haile Selassie Avenue, that is from Ngong Road, right now there's traffic there, but it's understandable because you're getting into the CBD, and that is where the entire Nairobi county is converging. If we go to Mombasa Road, let's see. Mombasa Road right now, things are not looking bad for you, especially if you're leaving town. It's a bit obvious that you won't find traffic right now. However, if you are getting into the CBD, mambo mbaya sasa hivi, traffic is bumper to bumper. Actually, all the stretching from where is this? Stretching from Bunyala Road. Yes, things are thick for you. But don't worry, it's still moving nonetheless. If you're at around Capital Center, there's a little bit of traffic there. But that's because of the traffic trying to get into South B and South C. That's why you'll expect that traffic to be there, but it's moving nonetheless. A little bit of a delay, if you ask me. Last but not least, let's see, where is the Southern Bypass? Looking good right now, no complaints at all. Enterprise Road also looking good at this particular hour.
At Thika Road, I see things are not quite okay, and especially as you just actually kuanzia Ruaraka. Yes, also from that junction all the way, by the way, the road is it's red all the way kutoka huko mpaka town. Looking at Kiambu Road, actually as you get into, as you join the Thika Road, there's also a bit of traffic. Yes, when you get to town, especially around Ngara, there's traffic. Jogoo Road, also City Stadium roundabout, there's a lot of traffic. Yes, ukienda pia upande wa kutoka Isili, I'm seeing kufika pale Kariako roundabout, also a lot of traffic. Basically all the places, especially the roundabouts, the junctions, I'm seeing a lot of traffic right now. Ukienda Mombasa pia, I see things are not so good. That is around Lights Kengeleni pia, a lot of traffic there. Kuanzia actually VOK kuingia mpaka town, there is a lot of traffic, but other areas in Mombasa are quite okay so far. Yes, so be prepared. Kama bado hujatoka nyumbani, this is a time. Actually, this is not the time. You are late. Wacha tuambiane tu, tuko honest, you are already late. Yes.
Kuna vile. Shida nyingi hapo.
Itabidi kuwa patient on the roads, yes.
Yes, so that's the traffic update as of this particular hour. Anything on the roads you think we need to know about? Well, you can always find us at Radio Gen KE across all socials. That is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. But for now, though, the conversation continues. All right, so we're having a very important conversation here in studio, and it's about the half term of the KK government, the Kenya Kwanza government, what they have done so far, their performance so far, and the conversation that we are having, or rather the stories that we're getting from Peter Muchendu, who is a political analyst, is that yes, some things are not necessarily working well. However, we need to be realistic, and the government needed to have been realistic from the get-go when they got into power.
Sure.
And they should have told us that, look, this is what we should have expected. Na tungewa forgive maybe to some extent, right? So let me reintroduce Peter. Peter, welcome back to Radio Generation.
Thank you.
I like the fact that you're saying that the worst thing that this government did not do is be realistic with Kenyans from the get-go.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that, because sometimes not everything is as it seems. Maybe there's something that they didn't know that they found out when they put Biblia chini. But now here's a situation. We look at some of our CSs, some of our parliamentarians, and especially those ones who are close to the presidency. I'm talking about allies of the president in parliament, in the Senate, and so on.
Yes.
We can even take a classic example of our cabinet secretary for interior.
Yes.
Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen.
Yes.
He wears expensive accessories, from the watch to the suits and so on and so forth. Our very own president wears expensive attire. There's actually a time people did a classical analysis of just a jacket. A jacket that costed millions. I can't remember the exact figure, but it was costing jacket moja. Mimi jacket zangu zote zikishikanishwa. Zote zikishikanishwa zenye niko nazo saizi. Hata I don't think they would amount to even 15,000 in terms of their collective value. But but here is a Kenyan who hasn't eaten for days, doesn't have a job, probably ameachwa na bibi yake sababu he was unable to provide for his family. He hasn't spoken to his children because bibi yake anasema you are a useless man. That person, where he is right now, when he looks at the CS and sees an expensive watch, we look at Mheshimiwa Oscar Sudi giving out money in churches, and it's in the millions. Our very own president giving his own personal donation in the millions to churches and so on and so forth. Kenyans feel disconnected from their government. They feel like it's like the government doesn't understand what they're going through. We're not saying the president should not wear an expensive watch. We're not saying the CS should not. Kama ni pesa yake ni yake, kila mtu ako na yake. But the moment you're flashy like that, and yet Kenyans are starving, do you think that is something that Kenyans will ever get to understand?
I think one of the major problem we have, especially with those politicians who are on the other side across the divide, is that we have poisoned our people to become subjective.
By opposite, you mean the opposition?
Yes, okay. Across the divide. You see, one of the things personally I have never liked involved in myself is anything I would refer to as a subjective discussion in terms of what someone wears. For heaven's sake, the Minister for Interior has been in leadership for the last 15 years, and he is also a businessman.
Right.
So what he wears and doesn't wear should not be a really big issue. One of the things I agree with Kenyans is in terms of the money used to maintain government, because I believe what you wear and the watch you wear, what you wear is not part of the description of what government pays for you.
Right.
But what you drive, how many vehicles you move around with, that is a subject I have agreed with Kenyans 100%. That on that part of spending where government, what we call the recurrence expenditure of government, when you have a minister moving on the wrong side of Gong Road with 5-6 SUVs that are probably 2020 from 2020, you realize that he is moving around with vehicles worth around 150 million, driving with probably engine capacities of 4,500 cc. That means that they are gathering about 500 liters of fuel on a daily basis. Those are things that Kenyans, I agree with them 100%, that the president needs to rein on how government money is spent. But nonetheless, we have developed a disease as Kenyans to become microscopic and into looking into even what you remember one time the media people zoomed in into a socks worn by the former minister John Mishoki, if you would remember the story.
Yes.
And that subjectiveness does not help this country, because I say that when you get subjective, and again, government needs to become responsible, because why are Kenyans even entertaining subjective discussion? It starts from there. They start looking at how many vehicles are you moving with. They start looking at how many, you know, the other day we had a case of a CS not getting out of the car until a lead carpet is pulled. These are the kind of things that are letting Kenyans become microscopic, because if you misbehave today here at the studio,
right,
trust you me, when you get into your car and you move out, there are people who will trail you to even see, to get so microscopic to, if you see this one behaving like this, there must be some cockroaches hidden somewhere. That is where we are getting where we are with Kipchumba Murkomen, because I can assure you there are other cabinet ministers that I saw a cabinet minister in Dubai,
right,
wearing a tracksuit that is probably 5 times what Kipchumba Murkomen was saying he bought his watch and what have you. But nonetheless, what I am saying is as Kenyans, I am really asking them to look at the greater good of having a government. Let me tell you, if people don't understand what it means, I have seen people shouting, this government must come down, this government must fall, this government. I don't have a problem, because every 5 years Kenyans have a democratic right of going to the ballot and electing their government. But I have a problem with people who are inciting Kenyans so that they can topple a government that is democratically elected. If you have no idea what it means to topple a democratically elected government, please visit Venezuela. Visit it is called Caracas, the city, the capital of Venezuela. Venezuela. Go and see what it means when citizens stormed into their National Assembly and actually burned it down. Go to a place like Somalia, where we decided to send away Said Barre and his government. Look at the country like Tunisia. Look at the country like Egypt, the cost they have had to pay to get back to the top of the economies in Africa after the what we did. Look at what we are dealing with Nigeria, the most populous nation. I want you to look at countries that have gone the direction we are being sent. For heaven's sake, if you want to lead this country in 2027, because it is a democratic right of Kenyans to come and elect a government of their choice, don't burn this country down. Wait for those people that have been democratically judiciary elected, if Kenyans feel they have not performed, I am really requesting Kenyans, let's not get that election. And I said this in another station 3 months ago, that when our kids no longer have the government institutions to ban,
right,
they are gonna start banning their own. Today, we have shown our kids in high school that they can also say haki yao. In Kiambu today, we have over 27 schools closed down as I'm speak. One of them, I'm in the BOM. The kids decided to shatter any piece of grass existing in the school. They almost burnt it. Because the example we are setting out there, it is resonating with them. Well, we can also lie out against our teachers. We can lie out against our school. There are better ways of saying that we are not satisfied with what government is doing. 2002, as a young man who had not voted, I walked from Kikuyu to Nairobi. That was around July. We walked to Kikuyu to Nairobi and back to say Moi must go. We passed through Kangemi. You remember Kangemi's market was on the road.
Yes.
It is not even up there like it used to. We passed there and not even a banana was stolen from those mamas in Kangemi, and we were in our thousands. There is a better way of saying we are not satisfied with what government has done.
I think we are all in agreement that no one wants anybody to go to the streets and bring distraction. Nobody wants that. We are all against the issues of even abductions and killings during protests and so forth. But now, issues za maandamano, I don't think zimeanza juzi. I remember tukiwa primary school, walimu walikuwa wanagoma. So I think it is also something that also the government has taught its people that it listens better when people go to the streets, when people go on strike. Well, let us leave that alone. I'm just getting you back to what you had said. Before I forget, it was the issue of I think I'm forgetting.
As you remember that
yes,
one,
yes.
Let me introduce our second guest in studio. We do have Dr. Festo Fadamula. Dr. Festo, I hope I've said you pronounced your name correctly.
Correct.
Welcome to Radio Generation.
Thank you. Thank you, Radio Generation.
Yes, you've just found us in the middle of a conversation where we are talking about the performance of the Kenya Kwanza government so far. And Peter here was just telling us that we need to give the government time to perform the things that they said that they were going to deliver. He also said that the mistake the government made is the fact that they did not tell us in advance that they might, when they got into power rather, they should have told us that kwa kweli kuna vitu hawange deliver, kuna vitu hazingeweza kufanyika wakati huo, and we should have gotten to understand the perspective where they were at that particular time. So first of all, do you agree with that analysis that indeed the government should have come out and say that look, tulikuja tukapata kuna kaa hivi na hivi na hivi na hivi, so the things we said, the stadiums we promised, msizingoje saizi, the schools we said or the roads we said we were going to construct, msizingoje saizi, the healthcare system tulisema tutawatengenezea, msizingoje saizi. I don't know, what are your thoughts?
Thank you very much. Right. It's my pleasure to be here today. I think it's my first time here. You know, the Kenya Kwanza government is pretty put itself in a corner because when they were campaigning, I think they were very, very ambitious and they promised a lot.
They did.
They promised a lot. And of course, they even talked about 100 days. In 100 days, would have done this, would have done that. And Kenyans were patient. Kenyans were very patient in the beginning. I think they gave them a year, 2 years, and they looked like they were not delivering on their promises as per the campaign. In fact, they came up with new promises.
Right.
So Kenya Kwanza, its first failure has been that it's a government of promises, promise after promise after promise. In delivery, if you look at the sum total of the promises and what they deliver, then there's a very big discrepancy, and that is what has caused the angst amongst the people. And now, I think when they introduced the finance bill 24, it completely broke away from the promises they'd made during the campaign. And in fact, it looked like now it's punitive. It's going to, taxes were going to punish the Kenyans. And I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And that's why the Gen Z generation, many of whom don't have jobs, and many of whom actually depended on the Kenya Kwanza government became very impatient and they said, instead of you delivering on your promises, now you are coming to punish us. So they replaced promise with punishment. And that is where people became very impatient. They lost their patience and they went to the street. And if you look at the spirit of demonstrations, it's a historical factor. It's a historical fact that many nations that introduce change always introduce change through resistance. In fact, this country, Kenya, is based on a history of resistance, starting with people like Hari Thuku, through the Mau Mau generation,
right,
and even how we attained independence.
It was through a revolution.
It was through revolution or resistance. In many nations, even Uganda, even if you look at the way Museveni came into power, he had to go to the bush and fight to achieve the power that, of course, now he's stuck there. He doesn't want to leave. So I think Kenyans were trying to send a message that if you don't deliver on your promises, then we are going to force you to deliver on your promises. And I think Kenyans are right. Because how long do you give a government? Do you give a government 100 days, 1 year, 2 years? How long? Because now we are facing an election next. So now they are saying, no, we in the first term we'll have done what we promised. And then we'll finish in the second term. But what is it that they have delivered that they promised? What is it? That have they delivered jobs? Have they delivered small things that they were talking about, like bundles in every village? Have they delivered food to the maximum? But now what we see is one-tom corruption. Corruption day in, day out. Anybody can point out corruption.
Right.
And now human rights issue has come in. 94 kids now today dead. Yeah? 94. Why are they dying? Why should 94 kids die? And now they have come out with risasi. First of all, it was risasi ya mguu. That's risasi ya kuua. Small kids know about risasi ya mguu. They are trending. Now a government are now thriving on risasi. How is that government going to be trusted?
Okay.
Yeah? So I think Kenya Kwanza government is a total flop in terms of delivery on their promises. And now the worst is delivery on human rights.
What of someone who would argue that it's only been about 2.5 years? We are being very hard on the government because President Ruto has probably spent the last 1 year just fighting people who are saying he must go, he must resign, he must leave. And he has spent a better part, because if you look at it, actually, if we're being honest about it, 2.5 years that he's been in power, now clocking almost 3 years, he has actually spent a lot of time just fighting opposition, and not just opposition in terms of the opposition leadership, but just opposition of his government and his leadership.
You know, Ruto, if you look at his history,
right,
is a history of politics, not leadership. Okay, a lot of people confuse leadership and politics.
Okay,
they are not the same. You know, you can be a politician and you don't deliver anything, but you are very good at your tongue. You know, Ruto entered, I think, into parliament now 97, and he has never lost an election. So he's a perfect politician. I think if you want to give Ruto what to do, President Ruto, tell him to politic. If you look at his history, he's a very smooth politician.
Right.
But not for the first time he was given a real responsibility to change Kenya. Because apparently we had thought that Uhuru had done so badly. So when you gave him the mandate to change Kenya, he continued politicking. And you remember Uhuru had complained about his politics. The Tanga-Tanga. The Tanga-Tanga. You know, he started politics the moment he became deputy president. He started to campaign for presidency. Okay, you can campaign for presidency, but when he got it, what happened? He continued politicking instead of sitting down to deliver now. So he's frustrated in himself that he has not delivered what he promised.
Right.
And now he's venting that frustration on the people who are asking questions.
Okay.
He does not. If you look at his history and the way they worked with the Rigathi Gachagua, the deputy president,
right?
And if you believe quarter of what Rigathi Gachagua is saying, it comes out as Ruto is somebody who does not like being questioned, who wants to drive his agenda by directive,
Okay.
who wants to micromanage, who does not believe that these ministers that he appoints and everybody, technocrats that he puts into government, can also make decisions, that every decision must be made by him. So I don't think this idea of waiting is going to work. Because he will never deliver. He has not shown any inkling of a sign that he can deliver.
Okay, let me ask you. You have talked of the former president not having done that much. Actually, you're saying that the current president, found the situation was bad with Uhuru Kenyatta. So, is it this not a time that we gave him an opportunity to try to, because we are coming from far, like according to what you're saying, Uhuru aliacha inji mbali. So him trying to pull that country kutoka huko mbali kwenye iliachwa mpaka sasa, don't you think it is just fair tukimwongeza muda wa kufanya kazi?
Now, if we look at the way we judged Uhuru,
yes,
it was a perception. Because if you look at Uhuru's record and Ruto's record, what's the difference? Okay, they are saying that Uhuru drove the shilling to 160, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I remember when Uhuru stopped his term, his second term, I think the shilling was at 124 something when he left office.
Yes.
Yeah? Then it shot up to 167. Ruto's time. Then they said it came down, but it's still 129. So it has never gone back to 124 that Uhuru left. So if you look at just that small sign, okay, what is it that he has done better? Has he returned it to 124? Now fuel has gone to what? 7 shillings more.
186.
186. All of a sudden, things are beginning to go back to where they were. So this idea that Uhuru was not performing was perception, and it was driven by the president. It was driven by the president that this guy just sleeps and drinks and he doesn't work. Yeah, but now he's got it. He's got it. What has he done that is new? People are complaining every day. People are now. If you look at the education system, changed. Health system changed from Uhuru's. Those are very big factors. You know, education system, has it changed for the better? They help to what we have right now. Everybody is saying it's not going to work. Now, everybody thinks that it's not working. So what was wrong with the previous system?
NHIF.
Yeah. What was wrong with it?
Higher education.
The only thing that was wrong with it is that it was Uhuru's. So he has to come out with his. But you see, now people are saying that his was a calculated move to make money. Because the NHIF, I think they needed less than 1 billion to upgrade it. Now, this one, they introduced it and spent 104 billion. Yeah? Now for what? It is just to make money. So everything in this government, and that is what the United Opposition is fighting about, is transactional. It's a business. The government is okay, we know governments are business because after all, if you look at Kenya itself,
right,
it was set up by a company. Yeah? The Imperial East Africa, the British company, the one that set up Kenya, isn't it?
Okay.
And then the company was just inherited by freedom fighters, so it's still a business. But right now it's from 70% being a business, right now is 110% business. Yeah. It is money that people are making.
Okay, Mushendu.
We actually want to go to the news, we'll need to get into the news first, Then when we return, of course, the conversation still continues here with Peter. And Peter, I would like you to respond to what Dr. Festo has said. He has mentioned so many things, such as the changing systems, the NHIF, into SHA, Higher Education Loans Board, and so on and so forth. So do stand by for that one. Right now, though, we want to get into the news. You can also respond, ask questions, or contribute to the conversation. That is Radio Generation across all platforms. You can also find us on WhatsApp at Radio Generation, on X, Instagram, TikTok, it's at Radio Gen KE. That is where we shall be looking at some of your feedback. Right now, though, here is Winnie Maganga.
Radio Generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high, all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam on.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. The Mombasa County government has entered into a partnership with the Technical University of Mombasa to offer medical training for future doctors at the Coast General Teaching and Referral Hospital. According to Governor Abdul Somad Nasir, the county government will cater for fees of qualified and deserving youth from each constituency. He said they will also guarantee them employment to ensure they build their capacity. The governor said the move will especially benefit students from poor backgrounds.
Kwa mara ya kwanza katika Kenya, kaunti ya Mombasa itakuwa na njia ya kuweza kusomesha watoto wao kusomea udaktari. Siku zote watu walikuwa wakitaka kusomea udaktari, wanasomea udaktari wakiwa nje ya Mombasa. Sasa hivi tumeweka mkataba baina yetu sisi na Technical University. Mkataba huu ni kwa tutawapatia nafasi waweze kufanya practical zao kama vile inavyofanyika university nyingine. Tutafanya ushirikiano na hii Coast General Hospital yetu.
Activist Boniface Mwangi is said to be arraigned in court today in connection with what police say is the facilitation of terrorist activities during the June 25th, 2025 protest. Mwangi was arrested on Saturday, July 19th by detectives at his residence in Lukenya in Machakos County. During the arrest, detectives recovered 2 mobile phones, a laptop, several notebooks, tear gas canisters and blank round. Speaking to media on Sunday, his wife Njeri says the activist is in good spirits but called out police for intimidation.
I think what we've seen is this intimidation by the police, and coming for Boni is something that we saw coming. They've arrested many young people and on the same charges of terrorism, arson. So we've seen him, he's well, he's in high spirits, they've taken good care of him. He has attested to it as well. They have given us full access, or at least they've given the family full access. So I want to say that we've spoken to the DCI Starehe and the OCS here, and they've given the family full access.
National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has issued a stern warning to politicians, urging them to stop interfering with the work of the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission. He cautioned that continued political meddling will derail critical processes, including the long overdue boundary review, pending by-elections, and nationwide registration of new voters. Speaking on Sunday at a function at Kilgoris constituency, Wetangula said reckless remarks from some politicians threaten to undermine the credibility and legitimacy of the IBC.
Lakini sasa IBC iko. Watu walienda kotini, vyama mbalimbali wakereketwa, wakipinga, wakadelay for 1.5 years. Sasa IBC imechaguliwa, wamekula kiapo, wako ofisi. Ile tunaomba viongozi hasa wa kisiasa, muache kuleta siasa isiyo na maana kwa IBC, tuwaachie wafanye kazi. Let's leave them to settle in so that they can acclimatize and start working.
The Principal Secretary of State Department for MSMEs Development, Susan Mangeni, has asked SMEs to seize business opportunities in the Horn of Africa region. PS Mangeni advocated for economic diplomacy among neighboring countries during the Global Somali Entrepreneurial Forum 2025 held in Nairobi on 19th and 20th of July 2025. Mangeni says the African Continental Free Trade Area Protocol for Youth and Women in Trade is an example of such an underutilized opportunity due to lack of trade financing. She further urged financial institutions to develop tailored instruments that will spur intra-African trade. Pope Leo has expressed his deep sorrow over the recent Israeli attack on the Catholic parish in Gaza and called for an immediate halt to the barbarity in the Strip. After the Holy Family Church was struck on Thursday morning, 3 of the approximately 600 Gazans sheltering there were killed, and several others, including the parish priest, Father Gabriele Romanelli, were injured. Speaking on Sunday after reciting the Angelus Prayer, The Pope named the 3 victims and said he was close to them and their families. Pope Leo stressed that the attack is just one of the continuous military attacks against the civilian population and places of worship in Gaza. And that's the Truth on Radio Generation. Good morning. I'm Winnie Maganga.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast, curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast, your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
Indeed, welcome to Radio Generation. My name is Mungala Mbuvi.
My name is Trisha Wayua.
We are in studio with Dr. Festo Fadamula and Peter Mushendu. They're both political analysts. And in the last hour, before we concluded that hour, Dr. Festo just said that a lot is currently not well and not sitting with Kenyans because the Kenya Kwanza government promised, and unfortunately they are unable to deliver, regardless of the time. Whether it's been 2 years, whether it's been a year, whether we'll give them another 5 years. According to him, he's saying that the reason why it's not being delivered is because our president is unable to deliver. I'm sure you had that.
Yes,
right?
of course.
You had a rejoinder in terms of a question before we go back to Peter.
Yes. It was Mchedu. Mshedu.
Yes.
That there's this question that I was asking him before, then I escaped my mind. That it is about we were talking about the lifestyle of these leaders, basically, the lifestyle of leaders and the fact that Kenyans are so subjective in terms of they want to know why you're looking so good, like in terms of you have expensive clothes and so forth, living an expensive lifestyle. Then the question is, because now the other day the president said that the economy is doing quite well. Then now the reason why we need to look at their lifestyles, we want to know these few people in our country who are living big, while we have a bigger percentage of Kenyans down there not even able to afford meals. That is, they cannot even afford 2 meals in a day, leave alone the 3 meals. So why are you saying that we cannot subject these people into, like, we want to know why are they leading this kind of a lifestyle while other Kenyans are doing just quite bad, and then they are saying that the economy is doing quite well?
You know what I said, and the reason why Kenyans become subjective, they will even want to know what exactly you eat on a daily basis. It is when you provide that opportunity for them to interrogate you, and it starts at whatever is entrusted to you as a government officer. How are you using it? Today, I've just said, you meet with a CS or maybe a governor, because these things happen in our roads.
Yeah.
Somebody driving 5 gasolers that are from 2020 coming this way, and Kenyans, the world has become a global village. I see a vehicle, I like it, I Google it, I will know how much it is costing, I'll know what is the accessories in that vehicle, I will analyze how much that vehicle consumes on a daily basis, and therefore at the end of the day, Kenyans will give you numbers that are making sense. So what I have said is, I am not a fan of subjective discussion, but the moment you start behaving that way on the highways, Kenyans will now narrow down it from how you are behaving in the highway to your personal lives, which probably they have no business coming in. Because I've said, if Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, who is now the Interior Minister, wears 100,000 shillings worth of a suit, he has been around for long. He's a lawyer. He has been in leadership for many years. He is well capable, and he's also a businessman. But the moment you drive around in gasolers that Kenyans are paying for in their tax, they will actually interrogate you all the way, not just you, to what your wife wears, to where your kids go. So it is not a good culture that this country is developing, but again, it is a culture that is born out of arrogance by some of the people we have given public responsibilities. And this is what I said, it is one of the other things the government needs to rein on, because they are giving the government a bad name. They are giving the government a name that is not there. If you allow me, having answered that, I may want to respond to a few things Daktari has said.
Please do.
And the last one he has talked about is an NHIF and SHA. One, there's this talk of about 100, it's 100 and what billion? 104 billion. People keep saying that 104 billion has been used to procure SHA and what have you. I can tell you without fear of any doubt in my head that is a myth. It is a myth.
How much did they use?
It is a myth. I want you to note my statement. Has been used. That is what they say, and they say that's what was used.
Okay.
But they fail to say this amount of money being talked about, if indeed it is the actual one, because I don't want to speak on behalf of SHA. If this money is being used, what is it being used for? How long is this money going to do? One, let us make one thing clear, the difference, the distinctive difference between NHIF and SHA. One, today, NHIF, by the time we were collapsing it, it only had around not more than 5 million active, what you call substantial members or principals, with another 6.6 million being dependent on those principals. So only 5 million people were paying into NHIF. Today, NHIF, when we were there, if you were not employed, you are paying around 500,000. The only thing 500 shillings.
Yes.
The only thing NHIF could do for you, it is pay for your kitanda in the hospital. It never actually paid for so much. If you have to get an operation, it is actually those people majorly with the NHIF advance who are the government employees that show the benefit of the former NHIF. Today, we have moved the registration of public insurance on health from that numbers I have told you to 22 million members that are registered today I speak with you. Number two, equally, as a government officer and a local citizen who is not employed, the services are more or less the same. Today, as a local citizen, you can apply for an operation costing $500,000 and a public health insurance will pay for you. The opposers of this particular health system, do you remember the former president actually in the promise of Jubilee Coalition in 2013, they promised what was called universal health care.
Yes.
In fact, immediately they got in, they tried something in State House. I don't know whether you people can remember when they brought those equipment from those companies, imaging and what have you. It backfired. Left counties with debts to pay, which they are paying up today for equipment they never used. Then immediately Jubilee government came to power in 2017. They decided to test the waters on universal health coverage, if you people remember, and they started a pilot project in a number of counties. It backfired, and Uhuru decided this is a canon of worms I do not want to open. But Ruto, when he came to power, he has held that bull by its horn. I'll give you an example of a hospital in this city that was claiming over 230 million shillings to be paid back for what you call the cesarean sections operations they have done. One of the red flags that a certain male Kenyan is appearing in that list of demanding for pay, having given birth 44 times. That is the stories of an HIF and fictitious claims. Today, if you walk into a hospital and you want to have an operation, a hospital makes a request to SHA before, if they will process that operation, immediately it is processed. There is a message that comes to your phone that you as Njoroge or as Otieno, you have requested for a surgery operation at this hospital. And there down it's told, you call this number in case whatever has been requested is fictitious. These are some of the problems that came with NHIF. And then, doctor here needs to, I'm not a lawyer, But there is a limit to how many times you can amend an act of parliament. If you amend an act of parliament, I think I'm not sure because I'm not a lawyer, but there is a certain percentage. If you amend an act, that you can only provide a new act. The NHIF Act is as old as 1992, before 1 year before I was born. It has been amended and amended and amended until it is no longer the document that was put together by the then Moi government to provide health insurance for Kenyan people.
Okay.
And you know, change has resistance. Change has a way of upsetting systems. Today, the NHIF, the new SHA system, as they talk, it is not just having patients. Within the SHA system, we have a system that is actually regulating how doctors work. I'll give you, if you walked to Kenyatta National Hospital, which is not far from where we are, if you walked there, you will find a patient would stay there for a week without getting an operation. You know why? Because government paid specialists were busy doing operations in private hospitals where they get money. Today, if a hospital applies to do an operation for you, it is not applied by any other person. It is being applied by the very person that is going to operate on you. One of way that will regulate government specialists paid who did not have time to operate to people who go to public hospitals. They are busy in some private hospital where they get paid well. That is one. Number two, we have within the SHA system a system that tracks drugs. Today, if you operate a hospital in El Dama Ravine, for instance, and you have sent a SHA bill to Social Health Authority as a claim, that bill is being subjected to the laid down cost of equipment. For instance, what are the things that you use in a theater? You cannot quote, I used a silage at 100 bob. Well, there is a very well articulated cost level and estimates you cannot go, and therefore this is safeguarding government from overpaying what is called unjustified claims. Number two, private and public hospitals are now being paid on time, monthly. Today, how much money are we dealing with that NHIF did not pay? We have had to appoint committees that are going to look at whether those bills were genuine.
Okay.
Today, SHA system has brought a system that is called, when you put a claim to be paid, it goes to something called medical review. One, there are people investigating, does this review meet the medical clarity that it requires? From there, it goes to something called financial review. Does this cost resonate with the set cost by Social Health Authority? And then once it is processed, it is sent for payment to be processed.
Okay.
And therefore, every month, if you set a bill that is not making a sense, it is sent back to you so that you review and you give the correct information. Subsequently, it means that we are not incurring the way we used to pay money yearly. We used to give claims at every year, every month, every 14th of every month. Say for this month, which they decided they started paying on 17th of this month.
Right.
Hospitals are being made, and therefore anybody saying that SHA is not working needs to come to my village and find a guy called Lawrence whose wife was being operated on it. It paid $500,000 for them. You need to come to a village where a young man we just unfortunately lost in a motorcycle accident. SHA paid 400,000. The people who are really shouting that SHA is not working are people like me who are in their 40s to their 50s with private insurance. They have been able to access a loan, buy a car. These are the people shouting SHA is not working from the comfort of their houses, from the comforts of studios like this.
Yes.
But villagers out there who, however, would have done harambes,
all right,
ask them, they will tell you that SHA is working.
I'd like Dr. Festo to respond to that, because he's the one who came up with this whole issue of SHA, NHIF, and the fact that it was being introduced while the previous system was working. Doctor, you've heard what Peter has said.
Yeah, and thank you very much. Okay, he has given a lot of details.
Right.
And that's the mistake they're making. You know, trying to over-explain things. You know, governance is a very simple system. Governance is what people feel. If people like something, they'll tell you they like something. If they don't like, they don't like. So if you want to know whether something is delivering, just do a simple opinion poll. Take 10 people and ask them out of that 10 whether something is working to their liking. And if you get 7 out of 10 are saying it's not working, then it's not working. Yeah? And if you come out with a lot of detail, the people are not interested in the detail. They're interested in the delivery, not detail. So that is where, again, Kenya Kwanza is investing putting a lot of detail on something that's supposed to be just straightforward. Yeah? Okay, they're blaming the NHIF. It failed. Why didn't they just upgrade it? It's calling the 104 billion a myth. And that's the problem. Why is it a myth? Who has demystified it clearly to the people? Nobody has come up and said it is a myth because of A, B, C, D. Maybe if you come to a beautiful studio like this, then you get him, Muchedu, is it Muchedu? And then he tries to give you a lot of detail. Yeah? Is that detail clear to the people, to the public? Can the people understand all that detail?
Okay.
All who benefited, who didn't benefit. And that is where what they are not doing very well. They are not coming out very clearly and saying there was nothing like 104 billion. If it was not 104 billion, how much was it? And who procured it? And who is behind it? There are even issues on the e-citizen.
Okay.
The e-citizen system. They are saying this is a business. It's being run by a few people in government. Crocodile. If it is sick in the water, who tells you it is sick? An animal that comes from the water. One animal was kicked out of the water, who is the former deputy president. Yeah? And he tells you this crocodile is very sick.
So
do you know how many people will believe him? How many? Over 80% of the population will believe him because he has been living with the crocodile.
Okay.
This gentleman has not lived with the crocodile. He has lived with the crocodile and he's saying SHA is a business. E-citizen is a business. The housing project is a business run by the president and a few of his people.
Surely, are we here to use Rigathi Gachagua as the truth meter for government?
No, I'm saying he was in government. He was in government.
I'm certainly sure.
And he's not alone. Eh?
Yeah.
There's another gentleman who left State House. I think his last name is Mbaye.
Okay.
He's saying the same thing.
Exactly.
He's saying the same thing. And he's saying the same thing.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about.
Right.
Let me put record straight.
Okay.
For once, clarity. Brian never worked at State House. I worked with him in the same office under the CS Moses Kuria. Hold your horses. You see, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Let's give him time to clarify.
That is what I'm saying. Let us not come use maids. Yes. Let us not come to the studio and use maids to actually accuse government. For once, he's called Dr. Mbai. He's from Nakuru.
Yes,
he's from Subukia.
Right.
I worked with him in the same office. Hold your horses, Daktari. Let me give you information. If you don't have it, I am glad to give it to you. He was employed for first time as the chief of staff of staffs at Moses Kuria's office when he was the CS for trade. CS Kuria was moved to the CS public service, and Mbai went there as one of the advisors. He went to the public service as one of the advisors.
Right.
Moses Kuria one time needed to, you remember when the executive order number 2 came that reorganized government and took performance and delivery from the PCS's office to the office of the public service CS. And Moses Kuria decided to release a media communication claiming to have appointed Peter Mbaye, Dr. Peter Mbaye, as the head of government delivery services. I keep challenging those people who keep saying Mbaye resigned. Everybody who is appointed in government and doctor knows you are appointed by the Gazette notice. any appointment in government, including my own, which is a small one as a director, it is via government notice, gazette notice, and mine is of September 2018. Right. What I am saying is,
yes,
let him not quote people who have no merits, had no merits in
but
government.
But Rigathi Gachagua
that's what I'm
is
saying.
a former deputy
but what
president.
do you expect from a jilted lover? No. What do you expect from a jilted lover?
No,
Rigathi Gachagua is a common case of
Peter,
a boyfriend that dumped a girlfriend and a girlfriend.
Hold on.
Yes.
Former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua was an executive in this country.
Yes.
Literally the number 2. He worked with President Ruto.
Yes.
He was appointed as a running mate by President Ruto.
Yes.
And by extension, Kenyans elected him as a deputy president in this country. So whatever happened between him and the president, we probably will never know the full story. But what we know for a fact is that he came out and vehemently spoke against the same government that he served, and that is why he was done what he was impeached. So now, if he comes out and tells us,
have you also forgotten he is one of the guys who championed Shah?
What we are trying to say is,
you see, I would probably see his credibility,
right,
if he spoke before he was sent out of government. Before he was sent out of government,
right,
he was the poster boy for housing. He was the poster boy. Oh, your houses.
Before he was impeached.
Now that's what I'm telling you. That is what I'm telling you.
Okay.
There is a very big difference between Rigathi Gachagua and probably somebody like Justin Muturi, who was the cabinet minister for public service by the time he exited. Whether what he was saying was true or not, Muturi at least came out to start making noise even before he was sent out of government. You give and take. I am not buying Muturi stories and what have you, but give it to him. He showed courage and spoke his mind even before he exited government. Then you have Rigathi Gachagua, who is in the first place in the Senate fighting to remain as the deputy president. And when it was no longer attainable, he will be the deputy president of the republic, he decided to become the person that fights government, taking advantage of that Kenyans who believe him. You know, this is a guy who was a poster boy for housing. I have a whole speech he has made of 45 minutes of why housing is important. I have a whole speech of why he is talking about the education change in KICC. You remember when he says he only had 1 degree and he was worried that the president may have to sack some people who do not have genuine degrees. And he praised how the system the system change is gonna work for this country. I have seen him when the president went to launch the Mukuru Kwajenga construction. I have seen him passionately talk about housing. This is a man that speaks with both sides of his mouth. So therefore, there is no honesty, and truly I did not come out of my house in the morning to come and base government on what Rigathi Gachagua says or not. I mean, if we are talking about the reality of what is happening in government, I am good, and because he has alluded to something which I told you when I came here,
which is
that government has failed to go and tell Kenyans about social health authority. He had not come here, and I said one of the biggest failure of KK government is communication. How do you feed information to the public? How do the public get to know how SHA is working and what are the differences between SHA and the former defunct NHIF? And therefore, please, let's talk about the status of the country and where we are. But let nobody insult my early coming here by quoting Rigathi Gachagua as the catalyst of the truth.
It's okay, Rigathi Gachagua, but now you also pointed out the issue of Justin Muturi, who started complaining while he was still in government. And the same person came out of government. Are the issues that Muturi complained about not the same issues that Gachagua also was complaining about and the entire country is complaining about?
You see, Justin Muturi was specific on one issue, which I am personally have spoken about. The issues of abduction, the issues of what. Let me tell you, one of the things that taints a country, it is the record of human rights record. And I have said this because As a small boy, I watched the 1992 riots in this country. Unfortunately, the 1992 riots, the only thing they would harm those days were closure of business, not destruction of businesses. When the Olengos of today and the Imanyaras of today and the Nyanjas of today were running in Uhuru Park and in Kamukonji and those places, the only harm that came to us then was the issues of business being closed and people not doing business. But we never had people losing their business. And I'll tell you why I think, and I said Muturi was very right, that my son, because let me tell you, I'm a father, and I try to put myself in the shoes of Muturi when your son cannot be found. And to that extent, I believe as a parent he had the right to speak, because his child faced that abduction and then later released and never charged to date. These are some of the mistakes our National Police Service continue making. Because I have said this before, even those days you say you are following me, it is always very hard in this country to defend the National Police Service because of, one, when people in the National Police misbehave, if you don't call them out or put punishment and give them punishment, they become part and parcel of how ill planned your system is. Because if today in this studio you misbehave, right, and we do not call you out, then we become part and parcel of that problem. And therefore, National Police Service had done injustice to the son of Muturi, according to him, from a perspective of a parent.
You agree with him?
I agree with him. I agree with him 100%. But I also challenge the National Police Service now that that issue has come. One of the nations that is prone to what do you call them, mandamano, if you say, and processions of protest, it is a nation called France, in a city of Paris. Every day in a city of Paris, there is not less than 200 demonstrations on a daily basis in the city of Paris.
Peter,
and do you know why?
I want us to still maintain the conversation here.
Yes. Do you know why you never hear people are shot? There were skirmishes in Paris.
Why?
It is because 17 years ago they established a special force called the Anti-Riot Police. They are specifically trained to deal with riots, not to be violent, to ensure that they contain people if you are rioting. Those are the kind of things the National Police needs to use.
But we have GSU. But anyway, Peter, I just want Daktari here to comment on something that you've mentioned, because he's the one who brought it up.
Yeah.
Daktari, you said you invoked the name of Rigathi Gachagua in your conversation. And Peter here has just said that really he is not a credible witness in whatsoever. You said he's an alligator with a crocodile in the water, and he has come out to say that the crocodile is sick. Now, and here is Peter saying that tafadhali, let's not listen to that particular animal because that animal is lying. And he has said, if we look at his record, he supported the government on the same issues that he has come out now to say are not working for Kenyans.
Yeah, you can see that it's taking a lot of time trying to convince you. You know, when there's a problem, you look at the time taken just to try and convince somebody. Governance should speak for itself. So that he's not struggling to tell us that this is not a credible animal. Then he has brought up another animal, who is Justin Muturi. Yeah, and he's saying he's only focused on abduction. But Justin Muturi also talked about other things. How he was being forced in Dubai on his transit to sign some government document for money to come from Russia, $100 billion for trees. He has talked about how he has been left when he was Attorney General, how many things were being, he was being coerced to do certain things. Yeah? And if you look at the history of somebody like Justin Muturi, honestly, as a politician or even as a speaker of the National Assembly, he's a pretty principled person. Pretty principled. So you're not going to say now, he's obsessed with the abduction issue because his son was abducted. He is also concerned with the governance of this country. And if you look at the things he's saying, he's talking about governance, how governance is poor. I know he's in government, so you're not going to expect him to tell us anything different. Me, I'm in manufacturing, and if you ask me, we as manufacturers, what we go through because of misgovernance, I'll tell you a lot of things. They are even introducing new levies and duties in the new bill to target us. And if you kill manufacturing, if you just kill manufacturing, do you know how many jobs you are going to kill? Quite a chunk of jobs in this country. And now you wonder what was wrong with manufacturing, that they had to come in and introduce new restrictions and duties. Yeah. So there's a problem. Now, if you meet them and you sit with them, they will take a very long time trying to explain that. People just want to feel you. They just want to feel government. You see, when Donald Trump and Harris were campaigning, to many people it looked like the United States economy was doing very, very well. The figures that were being given, the stock market and all that. But to the common person, they were not feeling those figures. They were not feeling those figures. So eventually they ended up voting out the Democratic Party because they were not feeling these figures that we are talking about. So there are so many things they can explain, but are people feeling them? Are people feeling that the country is going the right direction? The majority of Kenyans. Why is it one term shout everywhere? Why is the song being sung everywhere? Including small kids. What is the problem? That now one term has become very dear to even school children, revelers in the night, in the discos and all that. So Peter can say everything and anything, yeah? But the main thing is, are people with him? Are people with what he's saying? Are people owning what he's saying? What people are owning right now is the company is violating human rights. That's why 94 kids have been killed to date since last year. The country is denying us economic rights. That's why people are complaining about the cost of living. Yeah, that is what people are feeling. If you deny people economic rights and you deny them human rights, these people start feeling that you are not a governor. You are a dictator. So you are imposing a lot of things on them. So whatever he says, and he's good at detail. He wants to give us a lot of detail. Is the people, are they with you or are they not? That is the question they should be asking themselves.
All right. As you respond to that, Kiharu MP Dindi Nyoro last week, I think it was on Thursday or Friday, he came and said that the government has securitized the levies. He has just spoken about taxes and the levies in the manufacturing industry. This is another animal who was or I believe he's still an insider in UDA and by extension the Kenya Kwanza government. So when these people are coming out of the water, like he put it, and they are telling us that things are not okay, shouldn't we not believe them?
Number one,
right?
The characterization of all these people is that they have this perfect idea of speaking when they lose possessions, including the Kiharu member of parliament, who was the chair of budget.
All right.
And some of the implementations that have been made by this government have been tabled in parliament by the very person. But listening to my brother here, when you want to whip emotions, one of the best things you do is learn away from facts and details. In my other life, Daktari, I probably am better pressed to speak about industrialization and manufacturing than you are. And I would love to see, to hear specific quotes of the bill that affects manufacturing, because I have interacted with that bill word for word and the proposals. Let's avoid using general terms, because you labor too much to discredit what someone else is explaining. You fail to explain exactly what is wrong with the system, because when you are talking about discourse and what have you, naturally a human being, when you whip them emotions, they are not rational in their thinking. And I'm certainly sure we did not come here to speak on the emotions of people. We are here to speak about facts as they are. When you say government is going to oppress manufacturers, and I am part of that, I would want to hear where exactly the government is oppressing a manufacturer, because when I looked at the hashtag for Radio Generation, it is the home of truths. And truths are factual, they are based on law, they are based on exactly what is happening. And I love dwelling myself on the facts and how they are being processed. And therefore, what I would tell you is this: do not expect anybody who was benefiting from government one way or the other come out and tell you the government is good when they no longer enjoy that privilege. That is the truth, the sad truth of our politics. If you do not enjoy a position, the government that was very good to you is no longer bad to you. Kiharu MP was moving around with choppers campaigning for this government, courtesy of his position as the chair of the chair of budget in the National Assembly. Now that he does not enjoy the privilege of being the chair of the budget, he is now characterizing this government in a bad way. When Justin Muturi says he was being forced to do things as the Attorney General, being the moral person he wants us to believe today, why didn't he resign? He was reassigned to another position as a moral, upright person who believed in the transparency he now claims today. He should have resigned then. Rigathi Gachagua, that wants to believe us this government is so bad.
Right.
Why didn't he resign voluntarily or speak voluntarily when he was in power? Surely, let us not come and quote people who left government and started speaking against that government when they left as to be the voices of truth, because these are jilted lovers who once enjoyed privilege in this government. Now that they don't, they believe the government is bad. And for me, that is not a classic example. Let's come here with Daktari and say this is the state of our economy. How did we get here? But let's not come and quote people who cannot really be quotable anywhere else other than in the political platforms that are meant to.
Daktari, do you believe that it is because they are jilted lovers like Peter is putting it, and that is why they are saying what they are saying? Does it
let me
make
quickly,
it
as
less,
the response tells you, when
does
you
it make
feel
it less
the government you are serving is not fulfilling what you expected to be, as a rational person, you take up and leave. You resign and you go and you say this government is not living. But when you have been sent away, after you have been sent away, it is when you are speaking. That is actually you are still dealing with hangovers of being in government.
Doc, does it mean that now Kiharu MP shouldn't speak up because he is no longer chair of the budget committee? Does it mean that Rigathi shouldn't speak up because he is no longer deputy president? Does it mean that former CS Justin Muturi shouldn't speak up because he's no longer CS?
Yeah, but you see, when you're in government, there's something called collective responsibility.
Right.
And it's you adopt a position and you live by that position. So expecting somebody to speak inside is not going to happen. Not only in the Kenya government, any government. But once they come out now, they have some freedom, some leverage of talking about what was happening in there and why they thought that what's happening is not good. The Kiharu Member of Parliament has given a lot of detail, even on the fuel increase the other day, comparing our fuel increase with the region,
right,
and explaining the reason why 7 shillings were added very, very clearly. It's not because of the international prices. It's because a new levy was introduced onto the levies that are put on fuel, and they explained it very clearly. Now, did he have any malice? Probably to him he had malice. But to me, you're saying that why don't we just tell Kenyans the truth about what's going on, instead of Mbadi coming and trying to quote it in other language. The truth is that you introduced a levy that should not have been introduced. That's why the fuel prices went up. If you want specifics, you can give him specifics. But you see, in a studio like this, we want to focus on
whipping people's emotions, so avoid the facts.
What is the problem? And if you think that governance is specifics oriented, then you're not going to reach a lot of people. Governance is an emotional thing.
Yes,
it is what you eat or what you feel. So you can give those specifics in a boardroom. But when you're explaining to the public, tell them the truth in what he calls generalities. But those generalities must be directional. They must point to a certain improvement that people are feeling or they are not. So we are not here in a boardroom to give out figures like 30% levy on taxes for like manufacturers. Why is it not 20% or 25 or 28?
What was it?
So yeah, it was around 28 there.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's gone up. Why it is not coming down?
Has he also spoken on what government has
if you want to support
manufacturing,
if you want to support manufacturing, why not reduce the taxes? Because we are told that manufacturing is a major employer in this country.
Okay.
You are reducing the taxes and introducing a housing levy. I mean, increasing the tax and introducing a housing levy at the same time. That's why Rigathi Gachagua talks about pay slip. The pay slip does not look the same as it looked before 2022. The pay slip has new items on it. That is not specific. If it's not specific, then that is why they are not convincing Kenyans, because they want to explain things in very specific terms. Kenyans don't want specific. They want the feeling that you are a better government than what Uhuru was. And that's when they're not doing a good job at that. So now people are beginning to miss the former governments, including President Moi's government, which of course had a lot of human rights issues. But people are saying now this is the worst. Those people looking at specifics.
Okay.
Yeah? Daktari, I think because constitutionally the president has he has like 2 years remaining for him to to say his tenure is coming to an end. And he's just said the other day that he still remembers his promises, that he did not overpromise. He is able to deliver whatever he promised. From where you sit, if today you are the president, maybe what difference, what the different thing would you do to ensure that now the country comes back to where it's supposed to be?
It's going to be very, very hard for him to do a lot in the 2 years left. Actually, it's less than 2 years. Because the last year, and they are already campaigning, it'll be a campaigns. So it's 1 year or less. And then now he's beginning to say that he did not overpromise, that he's delivering on what he promised. Now, how many Kenyans believe him? How many? How many Kenyans believe him? You tell me.
Yes, it's a small
In fact, Kenyans have christened him to be like a liar. Yeah? Can you imagine you reach a place where a majority of the country thinks that you are a liar? How did he reach that place? How is he going to reverse it? Miracle maybe. Because it's perception now that this guy is lying. Everything is a lie. It's a perception among the people, the majority of Kenyans.
All right.
Yeah. So how is he going to reverse that? How? Including the bishops who supported him. Including the bishops who supported him a lot. Now some of them have come out and spoken about his government being an advertising agency, not a governance agency.
Okay.
And Bishop Muheria, he challenged the government to focus on governance, not advertising, because government cannot be advertising its own projects. The governance should be delivering on the project. The perception is very hard to change in a year.
Okay.
Very, very hard.
So I think it is a perception on both sides, because the president also feels that he's working for the Kenyans.
But which one is resonating with the Kenyans?
Because
which perception is resonating among the Kenyans?
Because he has talked of the economy doing well. He has talked of the affordable houses. He has talked of the SHA working and so many other things. So I think a perception on both sides.
You know.
But which one is being bought by the people?
Peter, please, as you respond to also some of the issues that have been raised by Daktari.
You know, there is this idea of, as again, I said, one of the things these people used to whip emotions of Kenyans is to avoid facts, and he has completely avoided.
How did we get there?
To speak about the 11 things that has been zero-lated.
How did we get there?
I allowed you to speak. You can allow me to respond. You see, he has refused to talk about the 11 benefits that comes with this particular 2025 Financial Act on manufacturers. He has refused to talk about the benefits that come with the new revamped special economic zones and EPZs that we are opening all over the country. But basically, if you want to whip Kenyans' emotions against government, avoid facts, avoid the sick. I know when I was coming here, it is not a boardroom, but you expected us to come and table fact, because the people who listen to you listen to fact. They don't listen to innuendos and you wanting to whip them. And then specifically, those people opposed to government have this feeling like they talk on behalf of all Kenyans. I am not an Ugandan. I'm a Kenyan, and I have a different view than he has. And there is, I believe that neither my view nor his view is superior than the other. All of us speak from what we feel like Kenyans. There are Kenyans who feel the way he feels. There are Kenyans who feel the way I feel. The only truth and the only way to measure how Kenyans feel, it is not yet here with us.
All right.
It is in 2027 in August when they go to vote. The rest is what you call wish list, feelings, and all those things on how Kenyans feel. Kenyans in 2 years are going to express how they feel. Between then, they can continue their job of whipping their emotions as we continue to tell the people the truth. This is what I want to say, that the biggest problem we have in this country is that the people who are whipping Kenyans, because majority of the young people that came out in the streets, and it is unfortunate that a genuine Gen Z concern was infiltrated by political players who have brought about political goonism into those maandamano, because I believe, looking at the very first maandamano by the Gen Z, it was a very genuine one. Later it is infiltrated by the normal political players. What I want to say is that there is a better way as a nation of expressing ourselves. There is a better way as a nation of saying we are not feeling you, we are not doing this. It is not, when you say that the government has failed to deliver, there is a reason why we gave ourselves the Constitution 2010 that packaged a delivery period for every government to be 60 months. You are being given a 60 months to deliver to the people. Then we have given our constitution that allows us the right to picket, the right to demonstrate. But that Bill of Rights, those people who agitate and incite people to go to the street and destroy things, forget to tell people that it also has limitations, because your right as a person to speak against government goes as far as where my right to support that government begins. And that is the line that all of us do not want to respect. That is, we will quote all manner of things, quote all manner of bishops, like he has quoted Muheri has never supported William Ruto from the word go. That is history that is here in this country. But because we want to drive a narrative that is supposed to whip emotions in people, we avoid to speak facts. And that's the whole thing. So therefore, my parting shot, because I had requested that I needed to.
We have about 5 minutes.
Yes,
I'm sure you can give us 5 minutes before you leave.
It's unfortunately someone is already out here to pick me up. So my parting shot, because I may not get this mic again, is that as Kenyans, we elected a government for 5 years. It will probably live to the expectation of some. It will not live to the expectation of the other. It is a democratic process that allows you as a Kenyans to go and speak at the ballot. And it is a democratic process that allows you to speak against what you feel the government is not doing right. And by no means nobody should be able to curtail that. But it is also illegal for you to go out and destroy public properties, destroy people's businesses. Let us have a way of shouting. Let us have a way of saying things. I admire how things used to be done by, as I said, the Gitobi, Manyara and company of those days. They used to do press conferences. They used to do walking around the city demonstrating, not disturbing people's businesses. And the moment we do this as young people, we are bringing more people into the street without jobs. We have people who they were working at the county supermarket. They are no longer employed, my cousin being one of them. Let us be realistic. Even as we raise issues against this government, we don't have another country to call Kenya. This is our country. If the peace of this country is affected, it does not just affect those who oppose government, it also affects those who are in government and those who support government. And if there is peace in this country, it is a tranquility place for all of us. So
Raila says it's because of NADCO, because NADCO has not been implemented. That is why youths are in the streets.
You see, if he says about NADCO, we can also say that the Dongo report, land report, also needs to be implemented. If today we implement, one of the reasons why some of the people are against government, if we were to implement the Dongo report as it is going to take land out of institutions we don't want to mention here. And these are some of the things that have been kept at bay to keep peace in this country. Not everything that is proposed by people should be implemented. There are things today if we implement, instead of guarding the peace that has forged this nation to where it is today, we will kill it. So therefore, it is not everything that is proposed that must be implemented. You look at the greater good of a country and you see, if I send her away, if I do this, instead of building, it is gonna collapse this country. And therefore, some of these things like the NADCO report, like Dongo report, they have what you call a time bomb in them, that if implemented, they will subdivide this country into small pieces. Not everything should be implemented. Some things to be look at.
You're not for the NADCO report.
I don't think that NADCO report, it should be implemented now, because there is a reason it was not implemented 2 years ago. There is a reason it was not implemented 1 year ago. Implementing the NADCO report now, it is going to shatter this country as we are approaching elections. As he says, the truth of the matter is that people have already in my constituency, we have hundreds of people who want to become MPs and MCAs.
What about the conclave? Are you for the dialogue?
No, dialogue anytime.
Yeah?
Dialogue anytime. And I must also request the Gen Zs, because I have brothers who are Gen Zs. I have them coming up in my house. You cannot be faceless, tribeless, and you cannot be leaderless. Do you know why? Those three things are not covered in our constitution. Our constitution recognizes our ethnical background, where we come as part of national building. Our constitution recognizes structures of leadership. The only way as young people you will sit on the table and be partakers of leadership, it is when you provide leadership yourself. And that is why after the skirmishes last year, the people who benefited out of the Gen Z demonstration are not necessarily the young people. So I am asking them,
we know them,
become let's see your face, let's see your leaders, let them come, because the dialogue that we are talking about, it has to be read from somewhere. Because why should you be read by retirees?
Daktari, I want your input on that as well.
I think next time we should be having a time.
A timer,
so that if time.
But for now, Daktari,
switch off the mic.
We have a minute.
You're taking a chunk of time.
Yes,
I have only 1 minute.
Yes,
but one thing I want to tell my friend here is that destruction of property, as it happened in the last demo, nobody knows who did it. You can remember that whoever switched off the TV stations knew who was going to do it. And who is that who switched off the TV stations? The government. And that's when the looting started.
Let's not come
on
assumptions.
Surely Peter allow him. He allowed you.
No, I just should be recording that statement with DCI.
If you switch off, if you don't want, gentlemen, if you don't
switching
want,
of the TV does not mean that somebody. No, because we do not want Aramists like you to possess the mic to continue inciting Kenyans.
Gentlemen,
that line without facts.
That's what I just wanted to.
That's your parting shots, please. We have 20 seconds. Yes,
they need to accept the the reality of things on the ground. You know, now I'm an active politician, as you see me. So I talk to a lot of people. I'm actually running for a parliamentary seat in Mias West. I did it 2017. I didn't do it but I'm doing 2027. So I know what people are saying on the ground. You know the Tawe movement?
Yes.
The Tawe movement.
Right.
It is very powerful now in Western Kenya. Very powerful.
Natembea's
Why?
movement.
Because it is based on the government not delivering. Nothing else.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing
Thank you.
else. So my parting shot is that these guys must accept reality and begin to find new ways of communicating with the people, because the way they are communicating with the people has failed flatly.
At least on that one, you agree. He also said it. He said that communication is very key. Thank you very much, Peter Mushendu, for coming. Thank you very much, Dr. Festo. Unfortunately, that's the time we have. I had a lot of questions about Konza, but I hope you will come back here again as a board member to talk about Konza.
Talk about Konza, but we are now on track to making it a reality. We have finished the first phase of Konza, the infrastructure development. We have done the roads. We have done the tunneling system. In Konza, we do gas reticulation. We do evacuation of waste. You don't need the lorries there. We are now reclaiming 80% of our wastewater. We are reclaiming it to come and do greening. So we will come here and talk about
Yes, let's have a session where we shall talk about Konza. Daktari as well, thank you so much. You will come here and tell us about the Tawe movement, and probably
I want to tell you about the Tawe movement.
You will tell us about the Tawe movement. But this is where we come to a close, ladies and gentlemen, as far as that conversation is concerned. However, it still continues in the next hour after the news with one Winnie Maganga. Don't go too far. We will be right back.
The sound is fine, pump it up, turn it high, all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. President William Ruto has hit back at critics who accuse him of overpromising during the 2022 presidential campaigns. The head of state insists he remains committed to fulfilling all pre-election pledges and is confident his record will speak for itself before the end of his first term. He further emphasized that Kenya must embrace bold and sometimes painful decisions to break free from the status quo of minimal progress.
Ile yote wale wananiambia niliowapromise. Hata kuna askofu mmoja alinitembelea akaniambia, unajua sasa pengine hii maneno ulisema tu ndio uchaguliwe, so ujipange vile unaweza kujiondoa kwa zingine. I have no such intention. I intend to keep every promise I made because I believe in Kenya. And I believe in the ability of this nation to be better than what it is today. Hii nchi imechelewa miaka nyingi kwa kukaa hapo kwa average. We must stop being average.
Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has called for sweeping changes to Kenya's election system, urging the use of national ID cards in place of the current voter register. Raila also proposes staggered elections to cut cost and improve transparency. In an interview aired on NTV on Sunday, Raila criticized the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission, accusing it of fueling corruption through procurement-heavy operations. Investigations have been launched following the protest staged by Kaplong Girls High School in Bomet of alleged sexual harassment by a male teacher. The school was closed indefinitely after students went on rampage on Saturday night protesting alleged sexual harassment by a section of academic staff, among other grievances. Some students sustained minor injuries following unrest, which also resulted in the destruction of school property. He is a member of the school's board of management.
So investigations are already going on. By the time the teams complete the investigations, we'll get to know what were the causes, and the various agencies will proceed to address the issues. We have also made arrangements for our students to come back. They were sent home today in the morning. The first class, that is a Form 4 class, will be coming back on Thursday.
Kenya's financial position is on a positive trajectory, says Treasury CS John Mbadi. Speaking over the weekend in Suba South, Mbadi defended his performance at the helm of the National Treasury. He stated that he had achieved more within a short period than some of his predecessors. He stated that since taking office in August 2024, the government has managed to stabilize inflation and meet debt obligations on time.
And there is this talk that this government is not performing is distraction, is diversionary. I can prove that we have made serious milestones. First, our economy is improving. Go and see the reports that are coming about the liquidity in the economy. For the first time in so many years, the national government was able to transfer all the money allocated to county.
At least 17 people have died in floods and landslides caused by days of torrential rain in South Korea. The country's disaster management office has said there are fears that the death toll could rise as an emergency rescue efforts continue, with 11 people reported missing. Footage showed people wading through thick mud in the landslide-hit resort town of Gapyeong on Sunday as they made their way across a damaged bridge to evacuation shelters. President Lee Jae-myung ordered the worst-hit areas to be declared as special disaster zones. And that's the Truth on Radio Generation. Good morning. I'm Winnie Maganga.
In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generations, the people's breakfast. Curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The people's breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights. Radio Generation.
Yes, indeed. This is Radio Generation. My name is Mungala Movie. The time right now is exactly 6 minutes past 9 o'clock. And in the last hour, we did have a very interesting conversation with one Dr. Festo Fadamula. We were also joined by Konza City Board member, Mr. Peter Mushendu. And some of the things that came up in this particular conversations was the fact that they have agreed that the government is not communicating enough in regards to service delivery. Yeah, that much they have said. I wonder, though, why that is like that, because we do have several people speaking on behalf of the government. So not only do we have the leaders in the specific cabinet secretaries, or rather in the different ministries, but also we do have a government spokesperson with his deputy. We also have a state house spokesperson with his deputy. So what's happening in that particular area? One thing that we pointed out is the fact that former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has said that he is linking the youth protests to delayed NADCO reforms, to which Peter Mushendu said that if the government, or if we were to implement all these things, things would be tricky all over the country, because not everything is supposed to work for the benefit of the country. Well, how true that is, I guess we will need more conversations to discuss it. Now, there's a story here about opposition leader Raila Odinga, who has faulted the government for failing to implement the National Dialogue Committee report, saying that this inaction directly contributed to the recent Gen Z-led protests that rocked the country. Yeah, so speaking during an interview on NTV, Raila said that the report, which was the product of months-long mediation following the 2023 Azimio demonstrations, contained clear proposals that could have addressed public frustrations, particularly those of the youth. Yeah, and he said that the Gen Z protests happened because the NADCO report wasn't implemented. Had it been acted upon earlier, we would not have ended up where we did, because the issues raised by the youth were very similar to those we raised in 2023. Now, were the issues similar? Rather, very much so, because they were all talking about the economic situation of the country, the financial situation of your pocket. Companies have been closed down in the last couple of years, by the way, and we can actually even feel it, because as recent as last week, we had some media houses having to fire people from their positions. Why? Because there's no money to pay them. The companies are not making money. And how do companies like media houses make money? They make money through advertisements. The advertisements have significantly reduced, and therefore reducing revenue that was supposed to be going to the stations. Why? Because also companies just do not have the budgets to advertise. Let's be honest about this, and the conversation needs to be held. The same companies that previously would advertise, let's say, using 1 million shillings every month for their businesses, no longer have that 1 million to advertise. They would rather put up adverts on social media, that is Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, as opposed to actually paying a media house such as this one to advertise. And that is why revenue has gone down. Now, even those small companies have had to let go of their own staff members. So there's no money circulating in the economy because watu wana pesa mfukoni, and hence that is why economically the country is suffering. Anyway, let's wait and see rather how this particular situation will be handled. But one thing that Kenyans are agreeing unanimously is that a lot needs to be done, and not just in terms of communication but also in terms of service delivery.
Watu wanataka waambiwe what has been done.
Nani alisema hapa? Yes. Nani alisema? I think it was I can't remember the panelist, but someone here said, including Dr. Festo hapa amesema that we don't need to shout from the rooftops and say this is what the government has done.
Actually, that is what I was looking at.
Kenyans should see things happening for them.
Mushedu has talked of the issue of communicating to Kenyans, but he has talked of the issue of feeling. Can Kenyans feel this which you are communicating to them, telling them that the economy has improved? Can they feel it? Because we feel it through our pockets. We feel it through the prices of the commodities that we consume each and every other day. So if we cannot feel it, then it means it is not working. So it doesn't matter how much you're gonna pay to the media houses to say that the government has done this and this and this and this. It doesn't matter how much you're gonna pay the bloggers to go to the social media platforms to tell Kenyans that we have done this and this and this. What is there is that Kenyans need to feel. We need to feel this in our pockets, because like right now Mungala, leo sijui tarehe ngapi, leo ni tarehe 21
ndio
Julai. Sasa nikikuomba 5,000 unaweza nipa
haraka sana
10
nikupatie?
No, let us be honest. Mungala, you know, tunaenda kutoka pale nje, and I know today actually you're going to buy my breakfast because you claim you have money.
No, but that should not be. You cannot listen. This is, and hapa ndipo Wakenya wanakoseanga. So just because I've said I have money, you're not entitled to the money in my pocket.
Well, you know why I'm saying so. But my reason of asking whether you have money is the fact that right now, like you were saying,
right,
as I was joining the conversation,
right,
you said that Kenyans, most Kenyans do not have money.
Yes, they're suffering in the pocket.
Yes, there's no cash in circulation.
Right,
there's no money in circulation. The other day I gave you an example of an Uber guy who had carried me, who had given me services back to my place.
Yes,
and he said that since morning that day, actually, he had only made 300 shillings. Now it was around saa 7 saa 8 kutoka asubuhi mpaka saa 8. You have only made 300. Mark you, there's fuel that you need to buy. Mark you, if that car is hired, there's some money that you need to take back to the car owner. Mark you, you also need to have something to take home. But you have only done what? 300. That means for you to be able to get all these monies that you want, you'll be forced to work like for the 24 hours. You're not supposed to rest. So it is just a clear indication that something is not happening. Something is not working somewhere. But then when you sit down, you listen to what the president is saying every other day. The economy is doing quite well. Unabaki unajiuliza maswali, kwani ni wapi? Basi ni wapi tunakosea? If the economy is doing quite well, ni wapi tunakosea basi? Why don't we have money in our pockets?
So umesikia Peter amesema that even the government officials and members of parliament who are dressing in flashy clothes, driving expensive cars, they are business people. So when you see CS Murkomen wearing an expensive watch, clearly the economy is doing well.
According to, that is for a section of Kenyans. Actually, that is what, let's just be honest. This one is just working. It is doing well for a section of some Kenyans. not all Kenyans.
And wanasemanga pia speak for yourself. So just because you might be broke, haimanishi
no, I know me and even our producer. I know we are all broke. Don't tell me that I'm speaking for myself alone. I'm also speaking on behalf of that Uber driver. I'm also speaking about yani on behalf of every other person.
Labda hiyo siku mtu wa Uber kwa na pesa, lakini leo ukimuuliza the same question, tashangaa jamaa atakupeleka au tushangae mkule 10,000 hapo kimchezo. Anyway, but I get what you're trying to say. Of course, we are not living in a bubble. We know things are not doing well for a lot of Kenyans, and the reality on the ground is, I was actually even telling the audience that even as early as last week, there are companies who've had to lay off people, and they put it out there. And they said that they have to let go of people because they just don't have enough revenue. They are unable to sustain the staff members, hence they have to let them go. I know of people who've had to close up their business last week. Tunaongea juu last week.
Yes.
Mtu amefunga biashara yake, mtu binafsi, a personal business, you know, a small proprietary. He had to fold it up and rethink. Sasa jamaa rent ya huu mwezi amelipa, lakini sasa hajui mwezi ujao kutakuwa vipi. You understand? So the reality on the ground is that things are thick. And we cannot pretend that they're not okay. If we look at the halftime in terms of the performance of KK in the halftime, mimi si analyst, mimi si expert, lakini there are certain tools we can use to gauge, and I'll refer to what Dr. Festo said, that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the government spokesperson tells us.
Will tell, yes.
Doesn't matter what the State House spokesperson will tell us. At the end of the day, if what you're saying does not resonate with the ground, and by the ground here it's the people, then clearly something is wrong. Ndio tuliambiwa unga imeshuka. Minategemea pia ni unga gani unanunua, because kuna unga zinatoka 260, kuna unga zinatoka 150, so it depends. Kuna mtu atakwambia but nilinunua unga juzi 250. It's because you're probably buying a different brand. Yeah, but the reality on the ground is, if you go and you can do a simple survey. If you go to a place like Runda and ask them how they're living and their status of living, then you go to a place like Madare and ask the same question, chances are you might get a similar answer in terms of the millions this guy in Runda was making in previous years. He's no longer making them. Yes, he's still wealthy, he's still rich, he's still driving his Mercedes-Benz or his Range Rover, but he will tell you that there's like a certain pinch he's feeling in terms of the revenues that he made 5 years ago and the revenues that he's currently making. Actually, the revenues that he used to make pre-2022 and the revenues he's currently making. Mtu wa Kibera pia atakwambia, nilikuwa naweza kununua mkate kila siku, lakini siku hizi mkate hapa tunakulanga Fridays pekee. You know? That is just an example. I don't know. Personally, I can even tell you the changes I've had to make in my own house.
Your own, yes.
Exactly. Because revenue is just not the same. The number of things I used to do outside my main hustle, what now we call side hustle. For example, I had a lot of events that I used to MC. Nowadays, those events are non-existent. I have called previous clients and I asked them, client A, around this time of the year, you used to call me for a specific event. You're no longer calling me. And they tell me, Mbuvi, we would like to call you, but we can no longer afford you. Because the amount of money we would have paid, or rather we used to pay you, we can no longer afford. So we found a different way of doing things. We have an internal person who now does the emceeing for us. Unaona hiyo kwangu ni revenue imeenda. Kuna kampuni nilikuwa nawafanyia voice overs. Nowadays they're using AI, because number one, AI is free. They don't have to pay a single coin. And it is kwanza, the worst part was last week I got a client mwenye alinipigia simu akanambia, kuna hii sauti, we have been using AI but AI is not giving us the emotion we are looking for. So we were just requesting you this once, you do the voiceover for us, because the specific emotion we were looking for, AI imeshindwa kutufanya nini? Kutupatia.
Yes.
What am I saying? I have lost that client probably for life, because now all he needs to do is just get on his computer, give
And
instructions
use AI,
to the AI, and he has the voiceover that he was looking for. So Kenyans are feeling some of it. Yes, it's the government's fault. Some of it, it's just changing times, changing technology.
Of course, yeah, changing technology.
Ukiona imefika mahali we can no longer compete with AI, it's a wrap. Yes.
Well, I'm looking at how when we talk of the economy doing quite well in our country, but some of the things that we really need to look into, because in as much as the president will just be coming and giving us numbers, that we have done this and this, sijui the GDP of the country imefikia hapa, sijui tumefanya nini na nini na nini na nini. I think we just need to go back to what should be measuring this economy in terms of production, in terms of manufacturing. Na tumekuwa tuko hapa, you heard what daktari has said. Doctor ameongea kuhusu mambo na taxes. That of course is going to discourage the manufacturing, that is going to discourage production. Mshedu hii umesikia pia amesema kwamba zile zimepewa zero rated, zero taxes. But then now unakuja unajiuliza swali, if we are giving any exemptions, we are giving any zero rates for taxation for some of these manufacturing aspects, what specific areas are we talking about? Because now, yes, you can exempt me from paying tax on something that it's not that much yielding, it's not that really that much affecting my production work, my manufacturing work. So now the overall tax that is talking about 30, of course 30%, especially for the company tax, has always been 30%. But then now kuna some exemptions that also you give to the manufacturers so that now you can encourage. But how are we going to give them exemptions while we have a whole budget that we need to raise for the country?
Hata nataka nikukasirisha tu kidogo on this issue of economy. Do you know schools are closing early because there are no funds?
Yes.
So now here's a situation. Cabinet Secretary John Buddy defends his tenure, says that the economy is stabilizing. Now, Treasury Cabinet Secretary said that the economy has made notable progress since his appointment in August of 2024, and he cited the timely disbursement of funds to county governments as evidence of improved fiscal discipline. Fiscal discipline. So he has defended his tenure, asserting that his leadership has significantly contributed to stabilizing and strengthening Kenya's economy under President William Ruto's administration. Speaking during a fundraiser at Mikuyu Primary School in Suba South, Mr. Mbadi outlined what he described as tangible economic achievements, contrasting his one-year record with those of his predecessors. Now, again, they choose and this is when I say they, I mean the government. They choose specific things that are performing, which is okay, and say that everything as a whole is doing well. Now see, that's where the problem is. Disbursing funds to the counties is not a sign that the economy is doing good. Kama shule zinafungwa mapema because they can no longer sustain keeping the students. By the way, kutoa pesa mapema does not mean, it is just, that one is just a matter of discipline about now the physical measures and approaches that the government has, but it is not a sign that the economy is doing well. Unaget? Because now the issue here is, unakumbuka tulikuwa tunaongea Vision 2030. Yes. Ambapo we were talking of having a lot of industries, having a lot of production and manufacturing happening in our country. That is the question that we should be asking, because this is not going to be a miracle. Yeah. Let us just be fair. Tukisema hata saa hizi tuseme hata wewe Mbuvi ndo umepewa hiyo serikali. Yes. There are some things that will never work unless the issue of production, the issue of manufacturing is sorted. Because that's now where we come back to the fact that now the government should come up with strategic policies. What policies do we have in place that are going to promote that production? Policies that are going to promote the manufacturing, because that is the backbone of everything. If we are not producing, don't expect that kuna kitu itaenda kubadilika, because I want to believe as a country we are where we are, not forgetting such issues like corruption. Sawa hizo najua tutasahau ziko. Yes. Yeah, not forgetting that. There is the issue of a country that had reached to some levels where we no longer produce. Yeah.
Yeah, we had reached to that point. We had reached a point whereby, as Kenyans, we considered working in the office as the only way of earning revenue.
Yeah.
We forgot the issues of agriculture. You get? We had reached at a point as a country where we became comfortable, not being able maybe to look for markets for our products that we produce. And of course, that also discouraged the farmers.
Yeah.
You get? We had reached a point as a country whereby cartels, by the way, they discouraged farmers from doing farming. Because now we have a few people here at the center. Ambapo if it is a product that mimi I've farmed this, nimetoa, nataka kwenda kuuza nje, where maybe like I wanted to export. Hapa katikati, a lot of cartels. Kitu ambacho natakiwa nilipo for example nafaa kulipo 100 shillings per kg. You realize kuna cartel hapo amekuja hapo katikati, amekuja amenipatia hiyo kitu yenye nafaa kulipo 150. Amekuja nataka ni anunue kwangu with 50 shillings. Tell me, do you think nitaendelea na hiyo biashara?
Of course not. It's going to be significantly difficult for you to do so.
So for the KK government, if it really wants to work, if it really wants to see impact of whatever efforts they are putting in, and especially on the production side of the economy, they really need to work on the issue of cartels first of all. Watoe hapo katikati.
Saa zingine inakuanga ngumu uongee juu ya cartels, especially
we are going to say them because cartels, they will come even in the form of brokers. See, the broker yuko pale katikati, I'm the one who is supposed to take your products to the market, sijui nini and then ndo unapata kwamba anatesa wakulima. You get? So
kila industry including politics iko na cartels
kabisa. Kila kitu by the mtu atakuja akwambia mimi unajua mimi ndo spokesperson wa mtu fulani, nimekuja hapa mimi PA wake. So this and this and this, and then you realize hapo cartel. So if the government, because the government has the power, the government has the ability, it's only a matter of getting the right strategies and getting the right people on board.
There's something actually when we were just talking about the economy, I just remembered that even our own universities are really suffering.
Sure.
Under funding, because now we are seeing schools are suffering due to funding. Teachers, because of funding, TSC imekuwa ikizusha. Also universities such as Moi University having to shut down. There are also universities that have increased their fees. For instance, Kenyatta University ilipandisha fees zao. Multimedia University, all these are government institutions, ilipandisha fees. University of Nairobi imepandisha fees. JKUAT the same. So now, where does this leave people who want to pursue education? Because now if you can not pursue education from Primo, or you're finding it difficult, in the morning you just mentioned a school that has had to dig deep into their pockets, yet it's a government school, it's a public school, dig deep into its pocket to pay teachers, to find teachers, to expand its portfolio and so on and so forth. Sasa kama mko na shida huko na alafu mkifika kujua pia mko na shida, if we do not get our students, our young population into universities, forget hii maandamano mnaona, things might actually take a turn for the worse. Because if they do not have knowledge, they do not have skills, na kunanga kitu mbaya kama kukuwa na for lack of a better word, let me call it a stupid population.
Somebody said somewhere that if you think education is expensive, try ignorance.
Yes.
Yeah, if you think education is expensive that much, like what we just witnessed the other day.
Yes.
A reduction of school funding instead of an addition. If you think it is expensive, try ignorance. Assuming today, when you're talking to somebody who is educated, Mungala, sometimes you people, you can sit down and reason.
I'd rather we have Kenyans who are educated,
yes,
and jobless, as opposed to a population that is not educated and still jobless.
Where ile chaos utaona kwa hiyo inchi,
because hata wenye wako uneducated, let me call them that, they still don't have jobs.
Yes,
they're having to struggle to find menial jobs za ujenzi, na si kazi mbaya, ujenzi ni kazi ya nguvu. But you know, they are struggling to find even those jobs that do not require any special kind of skills. Now, for professionals who are now, you know, the academics, wenye wamesoma, wenye wako na undergraduates na diplomas, au pia ni wengi huku nje. But at least they can think, they can innovate, they can leverage on the skills and the knowledge they learned while in the tertiary institutions.
Actually, a majority of the young people also pia unaona huku nje. Utapata some of them, unapata hata halali usiku. They are writers, they are doing a lot of online jobs
and those people
so
actually,
forth.
those people actually marketable even outside the country. We have nurses who are going outside the country, engineers as well, doctors who are going to work in several other even teachers. I have several friends when tulikuwa nao Kenyatta University, they trained to be teachers, and right now they are in the Middle East, places like Bahrain, they're in places like Qatar. They're actually teaching the population in those particular countries. Na sana sana wanafunza vitu kama English, wanafunza the sciences as well. At least it is because they acquired skills in the universities. They might not have jobs here in Kenya,
yes,
unfortunately, but at least they are marketable out there. And also what you've said, you can work online. Unajua kama kama hauna hiyo knowledge, kama ukwenda to a tertiary institution, chances za hata uwezi kutumia simu yako kufanya an online job. Nowadays kuna kazi nyingi sana za online, such as machine learning jobs.
There are a lot of jobs, by the way, online that you can
where
do
you're
online.
Where you're told, you know, just using your phone, you download an application and then you're taught how to use AI or to teach AI to do things. Now, if you do not have that knowledge, if you're not literate, if you do not know how to read a newspaper like this one, my friend, if we have a population that is largely that type, then we have a problem. Because even blind people can read Braille. We had Dr. Kigame here.
Yes.
He's visually, visually impaired, but he's so knowledgeable. And he is knowledgeable like that because he was able to access an education. He said very rightly that he went to Kenyatta University. Now, if we do not have a population that can access Kenyatta University like Dr. Kigame, we are in trouble.
Well, but I think I want also the public to understand that we are not saying that ati kuna jobs such that the youth no longer need employment. No, the young people also need that employment, and of course the rate of unemployment in our country of course iko juu, and not even in our country, by the way. You mark you that this is something that is global. Yeah, it is just something that is global. So it's also quite important that we consider the things that matter to our country. Like we have said, education. That is a thing that really matters in our country.
Yes.
We have talked of the issues of health that are quite important when we talk of the economy of a country, because you cannot talk of an economy that is doing quite well when its people are sick. A country will not say that we are doing quite well while its people are sick. So that means that if we are going to talk of an economy that is doing quite well,
yes,
we cannot talk about it without touching the issues of health. So now, like we have been discussing here, the issue of SHA and so forth. By the way, last week I had somebody who gave me a testimony of how SHA has worked for his father, his dad. He was admitted in 2 hospitals in Kisumu. And fortunately, SHA cleared all the bills.
Okay.
By the way, around 100 and something thousand. And it cleared.
Peter Mushendo ametoka kutuambia pasa hizi that kuna wakati kuna huko kwake Ushagoma ile ametoka. SHA imelipia watu kadhaa, akatuambia kuna mtu wa motorbike alilipiwa 400,000, unfortunately he passed on. Kuna yule mwingine amesema ilimlipia up to half a million in terms of bills. And those are success stories that we need to hear of and know of. But most importantly, I think we also need the government to just get down to the ground. I mean, nilikwambia, for example, I know individuals when you're bills of upwards of 100,000 plus. Yes. But now you see, maybe those were special situations or conditions, because we cannot say that there's a large population just complaining about SHA and then we ignore it. We need to understand.
They need to calm down, understand where the problem is coming.
Yes, tujue mbona watu Mbuvi na Peter Mushendu wanasema walishughulikiwa, lakini kuna watu wenye Dr. Festo anasema hawakushughulikia ama hawakusaidika. So now we can know, because we know everything has got teething problems. Right? Everything, even a new marriage, a new relationship, everything has got teething problems. But it depends on how you handle the problems, because everyone has got a good intention to ensure that people get health. I am sure our president doesn't want all of us to die. Actually, I don't think he wants any of us to die.
Yes.
Yes. And that is why they propose such things as SHA, you know. But now lazima pia realize kuna watu wamekufa. Angalia venye solve your problem ndio watu wengine wasikufe kwa siku za usoni.
Yeah, I know. Of course, I know he wants the best for us in terms of health. But again, when you sit down and listen to some of the concerns that people are raising, the critics of this SHA,
right,
it also leaves you with a lot of questions. Yeah, you sit down, you listen, and you're like, okay, because in our country, by the way, most of the scandals that we see them later, it's not something that was not being seen before, by the way.
Yes.
Most of the time utapata ni kitu yenye somebody raised it somewhere, but then unapata in the process watu mnakuja mnasahau.
Yes.
Then later mnakuja mnapata so this happened. Then you're like, okay, na hii tuliona kutoka kitambo. So I think some of the concerns that people are raising, they need to be investigated.
Right.
Yeah, they just need to be investigated. We just want to understand, okay, these are the concerns that these critics are giving. Easy concerns, do they have is there any evidence?
Yes.
Kuna kitu ya kusupport, because Mungala, I think we will hakuna kitu ambacho kitatokasirisha zaidi kama vile tukuje baadaye kuja kuona hii kumbe watu walikuwa nasema hii ni scam. Na it has turned out to be a scam.
It has come out.
Like, it will be so painful, and especially at such a time when we are losing a lot of lives through protest ambazo they are going to the streets to push,
right,
agitating for some of these issues. Then you come later and realize that, kumbe yani hii kitu kumbe tu ilikuwa tu ni scam.
Exactly.
So I think from where the president sits, I don't think it is his intention kuja baadaye kuja kuanza kuona Kenyans complaining or confirming something that was raised during such a sensitive moment like we are right now as a country.
Okay.
Yes. So we have said economy, we can't talk of economy, tuache education, tuache health. Yeah. Then now the most key issue, the issue of production and the issue of manufacturing in our country. I know that is now our solution. And then we cannot conclude that topic without talking of corruption.
Right.
Because the little that tumetafuta, if tutakuwa tunatafuta alafu watu wengine wana pocket, what is there to fight for really?
Umesema manufacturing, yeah?
Yes.
Kuna story hapa ya drug makers urge government to ease rules and support local manufacturing. So we have Shalina Healthcare CEO Clifford Shalina who spoke in a past interview, and this is what she said in regards to this whole story. Actually, let me just read the story. It has been posted by our very own Soki Brenda. Local pharmaceutical manufacturers are calling on the government to streamline regulatory frameworks and foster a more supportive environment for domestic drug production amid growing concern over the cost and availability of essential medicines. Speaking during the centenary celebrations of Kaluma, a household health product with a century-long presence in Kenya, yesterday, leaders emphasized the need for policy reforms to boost local manufacturing capacity and reduce reliance on imports. Yeah. So, President Uhuru Kenyatta, was it early this year when President Trump withdrew USAID? Alisema nini? President Uhuru alisema tunakasirikia nini na hiyo pesa si yetu. Yeah. Kenya has been one of the countries that has been hardly hit by HIV for decades. For over 30 years. Yet we have never had local manufacturing of what? ARVs. Because there were some of the things that were being catered for by USAID. By the American people. That was their tagline. From the American people. So the American people walikuwa kitusaidia nayo malaria, malaria has been a problem in this country way even before colonialism. Unakumbuka yellow fever?
Yes.
Unakumbuka malaria? We have had these pandemics for all this time. Now, 62 years after independence, we are still not manufacturing malaria drugs locally. Yet it is our problem. Wewe umesikia US wakiwa na shida ya malaria? Where do we sell nets the most? Mpaka tunapatiwa nets za bure.
Well, especially
treated nets.
It's actually it is in Kenya and actually African countries,
tropical
because
areas.
Because of the climate that
Now,
we have. Yes.
Now, the reason I'm asking this is because wewe umeona US NGOs zikipeana nets. Mimi sijaona. Na kama ziko tafadhali muniambie. Sawa sawa. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is this. For 62 years after independence, or rather since independence, we are still tunangoja bado tuletewe nets kutoka nje by NGOs such as the one for Bill Gates na zingine nyingi zenye saizi tazikumbuka. Wanatuletea nets, wanatuletea dawa za malaria. Ndio tukue nini? Ndio tukue sawa. Yet the problem is here. It is not even there where they come from.
Sasa ni sisi ambao tunajua shida iko kwetu. What have we done about this problem? Mazo tunajua ziko kwetu.
Tunangojea Bill Gates atoke America akuje hapa Afrika kutuchimbia choo. Yet sisi ndio tunakula hicho chakula. Si Bill Gates anakula chakula yetu. Ati anakuja kutujengea choo because anakuja kutumia choo zetu. Hapana. Lakini he has to come from the US with an entire team to come and look at Kibra and other places and say, we, watu wanahitaji choo. 62 years after independence. And this one I'm going to blame all the governments. This one has got nothing to do with KK government. But they are included in that.
Yeah, because it is long by the kutoka tupate independence ni kitambo sana.
If I go back to this local pharmaceutical manufacturing situation, it is high time, and even President Uhuru said, it is high time we now adapt to our situation and take care of our own problems. We have so many big brains here in Kenya. Kenyatta University ina offer biochemistry, biotechnology, ina offer medicine, ina offer chemistry, ina offer physics. Those are the some of the 5 main courses that are in manufacturing of drugs.
Yes.
Ukienda India hautapata ati mkulima huko ndiye anatengeneza dawa. It is doctors, people who've done biochemistry, biotechnology, people who've done pharmacy, people who've studied what? Chemistry and biology and physics. They are not aliens who come and manufacture those drugs. And yet we have the same people here. We have engineers from JKUAT, don't we?
Yes.
They can innovate and come up with these machines that we're looking for. We have engineers at Kenyatta University. We have doctors from Kenyatta University, University of Nairobi, and Moi Teaching and Referral, Moi University. Now, all these people that we have been training for 62 years. Mmoja ndio ameketi hapa kwa hii studio ya Radio Generation. Niko na cheti cha nini? Niko na cheti cha biotechnology. Na ninajua watu wengi sana wako in other places. They're not even, they are doing business. Me actually, I have friends we did biotechnology with. They are now selling chicken.
But let me ask you, Mbuvi, is it a laxity from also the Kenyans? Because, for example, if maybe you have pursued a certain area, like those engineers we are talking about, like you there, is it that maybe if you have studied well enough and maybe there's something you feel that you want to invent or you want to modify, is it that maybe people are the ones who are lazy that you cannot? Because if today, Mungala, if you went to the government and told them that, me, I have a formula, yes, I feel I can come up with a vaccine for so and so kind of sickness or that
illness. Yes.
Yes. Do you think the government maybe is going to let you down?
I don't know, because I've never taken anything to the government for patenting or an idea.
So can we say that pengine it's just a challenge to each and every one of us? Like if we have gone to school, we want to see maybe these people umeenda shule, what have you come with? I remember there's a time when kulikuwa na shida ya unga. Do you remember those students who are saying that they can make unga from nyasi?
Yes, I think it was some ladies.
Yes, how did it go?
I Again, you see, good question.
Ilienda wapi?
Were they given the right tools in terms of support?
I think we really need to look for them. We can look for them.
Tuwaulize kama walisaidika.
Tuwaulize, like you guys, you had come up with a very good idea, whatever. Maybe it was challenged, nikapatikana kwamba it is not viable. But tunaweza taka kujua zaidi what really happened. Did you get the right support from the government? Such thing, because
I'll even give you a very good example.
Yes.
We have so many herbalists out here. Doctors wa mitishamba wanatengeneza things from grasses and from the barks of trees,
from the herbs,
yes, and they make medicine that is used in the villages, but pia imekuja ku town siku hizi unapatanga mtu anaingia mahali kwa watu buildings huko anatoka na dawa za mitishamba na zinawasaidia. I hope zinawasaidianga.
Well, yesterday, actually you are speaking of that, and yesterday, sorry for cutting you short, yesterday I was conversing with one of my relatives and they were telling me that
they have been
no they are not herbalists.
Okay.
It's like they were saying they right now they are taking some herbal drink from somebody after they were given a testimony by one patient who claimed that they got healed from arthritis.
Okay.
Something to do with arthritis, and she said that she had consumed it for like 8 months and she got better. I was asking the relative, so how are you feeling?
Are they getting better?
Are you getting better? Then they told me, like, by the way, you know, I've been surviving on painkillers, but for the past 2 weeks sijakunywa painkiller hata siku moja.
Just from taking the herbs ako sawa.
Yes, from taking the herbs. So like whatever you're saying, it is a good concern. Like if the government can just be looking at these small efforts these people are making and try to come up with a solution. But now it is so disappointing that the other day we saw the budget for KEMRI was cut down. And like we speak right now, I know the impact that it has had, because the other day what we are seeing that a lot of staff will be laid off from that sector, that department. So if we are talking of a country who will be whose well-being is a priority to us, kuna some of these things that we shouldn't be joking with, issues to do with, because why would you tell me that tutaongeza pesa ya kutumia ya kule State House, tunaongeza kule na tunapunguza ya kitu kama KEMRI? Surely
kama ni mashamba tuko nayo ya ku set up these industries, mashamba yako. Tuliketi hapa na mtu ambaye anataka kuwania kiti cha Mandera North. I think his name was Alas. Yes. Alas alikuja hapa akatuambia that in the northern area there are huge tracts of land that are just there
that can be used productively.
We can use those lands to grow these ingredients we need for medicine, these herbs, because when you go to the plants that manufacture drugs in places like India, where we get majority of our drugs from, of course they grow the ingredients from somewhere.
True.
Yeah. So we have tuko na mashamba ambayo hayatumiki, na Alas alituambia that the land there is so fertile. It's just that it is an arid area. We can do irrigation. We can reclaim that land somehow, and because I'm not an expert in reclaiming land, we can do reforestation. Yes, get what we need to do, and we need to start now. Kuna mtu alisema the best time to plant trees was 20 years ago.
True.
The next best time to plant a tree is now.
True.
So instead of us yapping and saying that kuna a lot of kelele imetoka kutoka the opposition, Gen Z wanasema hivi, it is fine, because again it is our right to make noise. However, we need 62 years after independence, surely hata tukue na ka industry kamoja ambako kanatengeneza one of the drugs that we need very much, malaria. We need to have had for right by now an anti-malaria drug specifically built and created and manufactured by Kenya. Yes.
You know, the reason why most of the time when we have guests here, I like asking them, if you're given that opportunity today, what would you do?
Yeah.
There's a reason why I usually ask them, because I want to believe that, and we all know, before President William Ruto got into government, let's say in that leadership, topmost leadership seat, before he ran, before they ran for presidency, when he was a running mate with Uhuru Kenyatta, before they got in, like they were like, hapa pahali Mwai Kibaki amefikisha inji, oh it is not doing good. Do you remember that time? By the way, people really complained because Mwai Kibaki did do things that really upset Kenyans, but they were for the good of the country. You get? So now later on, hawa nao wakiingia kwenye uskani pale, they were telling Kenyans, we have a better solution to this country. Sawa sawa. Wameingia. After wameingia, we were left in a I don't know how to describe that situation, because that is the time tumebaki na madeni mingi tunafaa kulipa, such that even as we sit down right now, we are talking of the budget of the country, we are talking of the like tunaongea kuhusu a very big percentage of that budget going to lipa madeni ya inchi. Atusemi hatuwezi kaa bila madeni ni lazima, sawa. But then now the issue is we were expecting, because ukikuja on board and you're saying that I have a better solution to this country, lakini wakikuja the country still as we feel like he said, we like feeling we feel like the country bado ndio sasa tumeingia, tuko worse than we were with the former president, si ndio? Now kuna watu sahi opposition who are also saying that give us the opportunity, we have the solution to the country, but then tutawapatia turudi pale pale. So that is the reason why nasema right now the president has 2 years. Why can't just people bring their minds together? Yeah, we have all the stakeholders in this country, all the sectors in this country. Why can't we just now sit down and try to rethink the issue of production in our country? Because I feel that is where we are going to get most of the solutions that we need. And again, the issue of corruption, tulisema hiyo atuachani nayo. Corruption must be fought in our country, because that little yenye tuko nayo tukiweza kuitumia vizuri, that budgeted corruption yenye tunaona leaders wetu, somebody has put like, tunajua like on the books imeandikwa pale, controller of budget ameenda ameapprove, but then it is not really giving us the value for that money, because ni kitu yenye imebudgetiwa. It is just a budgeted corruption, kwamba tunataka tufanye hivi, but then if you get deeper you realize that it is a phone yenye inatakiwa itoke tuseme 30,000, but kulingana na vile wameiweka ina cost 50,000. You see, we are losing a lot through that budget issue of budgeted corruption. If we can be able to work on these things, na hiyo pesa kidogo yenye tuko nayo kama inchi, we use it in ensuring that tunaweka miundo misingi katika inchi yetu, infrastructures in terms of, tukisema ni mambo na the medical side of it, Kenya itahakikisha kwamba ina invest a lot instead of cutting budgets for such key bodies in our country like KEMRI, surely. Yeah, I think that is the solution that we can be having, because hizi stories za watu wanakuambia wako opposition mnapinga serikali, but hata mkiingia is the same thing yenye mtakuja kufanyia wa Kenya.
Manufacturers argue that investing in local production would help stabilize supply, lower costs for consumers, and generate employment within the healthcare sector. I like that statement. Manufacturers argue that investing in local production would help stabilize supply, lower cost of consumers, or rather cost for consumers, and generate employment within the healthcare sector. Do you know the kind of employment we would have if we had industries here that actually provide things like healthcare?
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate that tumetengenezwa na mwili ugonjeka. We need medicine for our eyes, we need medicine for our nose, we need medicine for our mouth, our teeth,
yes,
our tongue, our ears,
yes,
even our hair. We need medicine for our hair. Our bodies, literally, we need medicine for every single thing. So if we were to have, and the manufacturers are saying they have the capacity, because this is what they are saying, there's a real opportunity to scale up local manufacturing and make treatment more affordable. But we need a supportive policy framework, one that reduces red tape and incentivizes investment in local production. We have billionaires in this country who are able and willing, actually willing is the first word I should have used, and they are able to not only fund but also source for funds from outside, because they have connections all over the world, and all they need is to be told, look, there is the piece of land, set up that industry, we have reduced the bureaucracy for you, hizi red tapes zote tumezikatakata. maswali mingi, let's focus on. And if we do that, and some of these things, by the way, they can be done in a 5-year term. Because the moment you get into office like this, you can authorize and tell Patricia, start building your industry there. So that by the time you're done with your first 5 years, people will see that enyewe kuna kitu umefanya. Patricia alikuwa anajenga industry pale. It's almost, and you can pinpoint and we can see as Kenyans.
You can see it, yes.
Yeah. So that when you're asking for a second term, it's a no-brainer.
But do you know something?
It's a no-brainer.
If somebody gets in today to that leadership, laying down those infrastructures, those systems, for you to now to reach at that point, then now where the country is benefiting from them, unajua hiyo ni miaka kama 5 mtamaliza, and then now watu watakuwa na make a lot of noise. There's nothing that you are doing. I tend to believe, and I want to believe whatever the president has been saying, trying to lay down infrastructures and foundations for this production thing that we are talking about, I want to believe it is the truth. Because if it is the truth, people will see the fruit later.
Yeah.
If it is the truth. But if it is not true, the country, hata whoever gets into this seat, pina kuambia Mungala, hata sahi hiki kiti tukikupatia wewe, kitakushinda, kitakulemea. Because there is a lot there is a lot that our country needs to put into place. There is a lot that we had ignored for the longest time. Yeah. Kuna hati kitambo things used to, ungeona vitu zinafanyika, you get. Kuna a lot of things we tulifika mahali tuka ignore as a country, and they are costing us today. I'm speaking this as a strategic specialist.
Okay.
Yeah, I was speaking this because from the point of a strategist,
yes,
that right now what the president needs to do right now, please achana na wanasiasa katika these key positions that you are giving.
Yeah.
Achana na wanasiasa. Mwanasiasa atakuja pale hivi, unajua mwanasiasa anataka kujipigania.
Okay.
You get. But if you got the right people, you say today tunataka tuangalie issues za production in our country. I want to get strategists on board.
Okay.
I want to get technocrats on board. I want to get people who can come up with policies. Achana na these advisors yenye tumekuwa tunaona, unaleta advisor ambaye ni politician. What do you expect of this person surely? Do you expect them to advise you accordingly? These are people will just come na watakuwa na kupaka mafuta. Like they can see you're heading to the wrong direction, but they will not tell you the truth. Because there's a lot of news out there, so they will be concentrating on managing the noise that is coming from the public.
Yes,
and forget to tell you the truth. Forget to tell you, Mr. President, this is what we should do for us to be able to reach wherever we want to reach. But ukieka mwanasiasa pale, I'm telling you everything, they will be seeing it from the perspective of a politician. Bring technocrats in most of these sensitive dockets.
Shida ya Kenya tu ni moja. Hata uweke nani pale kwa kile kiti, unless uweke mtu mwenye akona principle, whether politician or otherwise.
And principled, yes.
Kama ni mtu hana principles, whether politician or technocrat, yule mtu ata make sure amefanya kile umesema, budgeted corruption.
Okay, let's do this then.
Ngoja kidogo.
Forget about we have tried the politicians sawa in those places. Why can't now the president try the technocrats? You are saying wote wakienda pale wanaenda kukua corrupt, si ndio? We have tried the politicians. Mr. President, you have used politicians to come and advise you. Hata wengine tuliona ulikuwa umewaweka katika positions na tunaona vizuri huyu mtu hakuna. What about right now where tuweke technocrats in those positions?
Na mimi ndio najaribu kukujibu. Someone is benefiting when the system is in a mess.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So the reason why, for example, manufacturing has got so many red tapes is because had the red tapes not been there, because for you to cross every tape, you are parting with something. Lazima uone mtu kando. And we know this is our country, we live here. We're not living in a forest. We know that for you to cross every hurdle, lazima uone mtu fulani. ndio you get to the next stage. And this is what manufacturers for example are saying. They're just saying, make it easier for us to do what? To do this business. Now the reason why, whether you put a technocrat there, you remember there's something you said earlier on, cartels. Unadhani hiyo cartel itakukubali?
What I said is, I think you what I said, I was so categorical in that like, we are not putting aside corruption, we are not putting aside the issues of cartels. Continue fighting cartels, continue fighting corruption, and then na huku we do what we are supposed to do.
Aye. We have come to the end of the show. We had so many conversations today, and one of the biggest one was, now the government has literally gone into they are now almost actually finishing their third year, and they will start their fourth year.
Yes.
In August, which by the way is in how long? 9 days. So in 9 days, give or take, this government will literally have done